Welcome back, Truth Seekers. Apologies for the late start. This post right here, it is super important. Like, if you got friends and family that are into the NBA, see if you can get them to watch this post. It's going to be longer, but I'm going to try to break it down in a minute or two for the person who's brand new. And if they want to stick around to listen to more information to understand it further, we'll carry on. But again, if you're new here, we talk about Gematria. There's a couple songs out there to look into. Gematria, the killing name. Also another song called Murder by Numbers, where killing is as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3, and how it's the sport of the elected, the sport of the ruling class. So in the news in recent days, we had the death of Dan Gilbert's son at age 26. We're going to talk about why that matters. Dan Gilbert, who's from Detroit. And just the day before that news broke, Lance Blanks, who played in Detroit, who was drafted by Detroit in the NBA with the 26th pick, and who just died 26 weeks after his NBA debut anniversary, and who also finished his last career season averaging 2.6 points. Again, how these guys are dead in the news at the same time, both connected to Detroit during the time of the NBA playoffs. But of course, Dan Gilbert, who's from Detroit, he's also rebuilt Detroit and amped up Cleveland, and he owns the Cavs, and he's been connected to LeBron James for all these years. At the time we're getting this news at 26, LeBron James is picking up his 26th win for the Lakers in the playoffs over the Warriors. On the same day that Dan Gilbert's son died at 26, LeBron and the Lakers got their 26th win over the Warriors. Again, this number connects with the name Bryant. Remember Kobe Bryant, who died on January 26th, and Gematria Bryant equals 26. His father, Joe Bryant, was drafted by the Warriors. Kobe played for the Lakers, died on the 26th day of the year, the anniversary of Bear Bryant's death, the football coach. If you're new here, I do have a book that you can read for free. It's a long book, but the first chapter is about the significance of the number 26. I wrote it in 2017. It talks about Kobe Bryant's career, Jordan's career, how special the number is. And hold on, we're getting a phone call right now. I'm going to take it real quick, but I got to make the second point, but I wasn't quite ready for calls. But this is a good caller. What's up, Cousin Mar?
Yo, Cousin Zach, not to cut you off, I'm watching the live stream. So to go also with the whole Michigan thing, remember I told you the coach from the Lakers is from Texas Tech, but he was born in Saginaw, Michigan. I'll let you continue. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man. All right. We'll get to that. He's talking about what just happened in the James Harden game. 76ers Celtics, where you can just see the Celtics come out with low energy and don't play like the same team and let the 76ers get a good lead. I mean, it's just people who are falling for these games. It's something else. But anyway, that's the 26th piece. The other piece of this is 56. Remember what I had up on Twitter all day before LeBron became 5-6 versus Steph Curry at home in the playoffs on 5-6 on the day of the King's coronation when the last King of England died at age 56. Again, all this 56 stuff, and Lance Blanks just died at age 56. And then Nick Gilbert dies on 5-6. And here's where Gematria is important. Notice, Nick Gilbert in Gematria equals 56 when you take the alphabetic order. A is 1 up to Z. The 26 letters 26. We have a 26-letter alphabet. As you'll learn in Gematria, a letter equals 26 like God, like Adam, like how man's made in the 26th verse. On the 6th day, which is considered, in our culture, Saturday, the day this went down, like Saturn's the 6th planet. But anyway, notice how Nick Gilbert is 56, dead on 5-6. That's if you use numerology, the alphabetic order with numerology. A's 1 up to Z is 26, but use numerology. So 26 for Z becomes 2 plus 6 is 8. Y, the 25th letter, becomes 2 plus 5 is 7. X, the 24th letter, becomes 2 plus 4 is 6. But if you just use the alphabetic order and not numerology, Nick Gilbert equals 110, and he died on his father's 110th day of being 61 years old. And again, if you're new here, 61 is a very special number. Gematria means geometry in language. It's connected to sacred geometry. In sacred geometry, the shape that's made out of 61 overlapping circles is considered God. In Gematria, in Jewish Gematria, God is 61. In English Gematria, Jesus and cross and church are all 61. So think about the Father giving up the Son, God, the numbers. Here, we'll connect it more. So Lance Blank's dead at 56, the 26th pick of the draft, 26 weeks after his draft or his NBA debut anniversary on November 2nd. Averaged 2.6 points this last season. He's in the news at the same time as Nick Gilbert being dead at 26 on the day of LeBron getting 26. Again, Dan Gilbert runs the Cavs, thus the connection with LeBron, known as King James, where King James's son was King Charles, and those who fought for King Charles were Cavaliers. That's why LeBron won as King James for the Cavaliers, their only championship on the real King James's birthday, June 19th, 2016. And this also happened on the day of King Charles' coronation, 5-6. Another word that equals 56 in Gematria, coronation, like royal family. But all these things happening on the same day, words like crown equal 26. We're going to put it all together here. But notice this list too. Lance Blank's drafted 26th pick, dead exactly 26 weeks after his NBA debut, averaged 2.6 points in his last season with Minneapolis, the original home of the Lakers. We're also going to talk about why Bronny James went with USC on the same day, how this all comes together. That there's some other pieces here that we're going to cover, but just for the quick introduction for the people who are short on time. Again, look at this 56 list. The first game of the Warriors-Lakers series was on May 2nd, the anniversary of the publishing of the King James Bible in 1611. LeBron and the Warriors and the Lakers were tied at 56 all in that game. We predicted that the Lakers would have 56 points at halftime for game 2. They did. And we predicted yesterday that LeBron would become 5-6 versus Steph Curry at home on 5-6, the day of the King's coronation. In Kentucky Derby, one trainer, Todd Pletcher, he had horses in posts 5 and 6 on 5-6. He also had Forte, which was scratched, and then Mage won, who came in second place to the last race Forte was in. So we can see why Mage was scratched, because Forte was the better horse. It already beaten Mage in the last time they raced. But anyway, look at the gematria, you guys. King James Bible 56, Royal Family 56, Kentucky Derby 56. At Churchill Downs, when all of this goes back to the church, the Catholic Church, who gave us the calendar, the language, who synced it all up, thus the Roman architecture everywhere. The name Robert Cecil, he's connected to the King James Bible. Okay, we're going to come back and talk more about Robert Cecil, because King James I, who LeBron's named after, he's responsible for the Protestant Bible. And some people say the Catholic Church wanted to kill him for putting out an English version of the Bible. King James II was Catholic. So from Protestant to Catholic. And there's a lot more to say about that too. But just notice, that guy who they say could be responsible for the King James Bible, Robert Cecil, 56. All these rituals with history. Nick Gilbert, 56. Society of Jesus, the official name of the Jesuits who are behind all this, which we talk about all the time, 56. The Church of Satan, established in San Francisco, where the Warriors now are, established in a huge Jesuit ritual synced up with the church, including the deaths of Anton LaVey, also 56. And again, Civil War, King Charles, the English Civil War 56. Abraham Lincoln blamed the Civil War in the U.S. on the Jesuits, died at age 56. Adolf Hitler, backed by the church, dead at age 56 in the same month as Lincoln. The coronation on 5-6. Gavin Newsom, the big Jesuit in California who locked down the state, saying 56% of California will get coronavirus in 8 weeks, which is 56 days. If you're new here, Gematria is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards numerology. Look how Gavin Newsom and coronavirus overlap. And remember, Corona Del Mar should be on that same list. In the same cipher as coronavirus, COVID vaccine, Anthony Fauci, Washington, D.C., and that same cipher, Corona Del Mar, where Kobe was buried, equals 56. And Miami Heat's 56, and the Lakers went on to beat the Heat that year, 41 weeks after LeBron's birthday on Father-Daughter Day, when Kobe died at age 41 while traveling from Catholic Mass on the Pope's 41st day of his age. Kobe Bryant equals 41. And just for a little fast fact, Kobe Japan was established on April 1st, 4-1. If you run it in reverse, Kobe Bryant equals 58 instead of 41. He died on the 271st day of the 126th Emperor of Japan on 126, But the 271st day of that emperor, that's the 58th prime. And Kobe Bryant and Los Angeles Lakers both 58. So big time with Japan and the establishment of Kobe and the emperor and the date of death. And again, who's been in Japan in the Far East of Asia for longer than the U.S. has existed? The Jesuits, the Catholic Church. The latest superior general of the Jesuits to die died in Japan by the numbers. Adolfo Nicholas, 225, dead on the day, leaving 225 days left in the year. Anyhow, just going with this whole 56 thing to take you back to the time of the Lakers winning the finals after Kobe's death. Back to the UK, they said the first vaccinated person in the world was Maggie Keenan, whose name equals 56. And then Captain Tom, they said he died from COVID. He's a big UK war hero. He died 56 days later. He was known for the Burma campaign, which equals 56. George Orwell's first book about the Burma campaign, the first number he mentions in the book, 56. Look into Art of War, translated by the Jesuits. They have a rule 1, 2, 3, 4 to start the book, and then they skip, and then it's rule 5, rule 6 on the same line. Rule 5, rule 6. And then it goes back to rule 7, 8, 9, so on. But rule 5, 6 on the same line. Big number with the Jesuits has to do with the 56 names, male names, some of them repeated in the first 11 verses of Matthew. But yeah, again, just the 56 thing is so massive, and we know it all goes back to the Jesuits. They say that Wuhan lab that there's the theories about was established by the French in 1956. Paris, France equals 56, which is the original home of the Jesuits. Thus, the first Jesuit pope is Pope Francis, named after Saint Francis of Assisi, just like San Francisco is. But yeah, anyway, all of this stuff is so important, but I want to figure out the right way to do it for the longer people. Again, I know some people only got 5 minutes, so I wanted to get in as much as possible and just really connect the 26 and the 56. Again, Lakers got the 26th win over the Warriors on the day that Nick, which also equals 26, is dead. And right after Lance Blanks, the 26th pick of the draft, who averaged 2.6 last season, who died 26 weeks after his NBA debut anniversary. And, you know, got a big book back there. The first book I wrote. Again, you can read it as an ebook on my website. Up in the ebooks, it's the dark green book or the neon green book, Letters and Numbers. First chapter, all about the number 26. And maybe I'll even read from it today. I'll think about that. By the way, I also just want to say shout out real quick to 208 Productions in Idaho. I like that he made this his social media avatar. I appreciate that. Just helping promote the work. GematriaEffectNews. Again, just every little thing anybody can afford to do, such as this. You know, these gestures could go a million miles in the information age where all sorts of people's eyes are looking at all sorts of different social media. The more places out there, the more chances it has to connect. And people need to understand that these leagues, you know, they're just like these Mayans we learned about that had great big sports, you know, celebrations and ritual sacrifice. I mean, nothing has changed, literally. All this goes back to Babylon, this whole code, letters and numbers. But, okay, that's the real quick 2656. I'll talk more about it. Let's all just talk about Bronny James, LeBron's son, signing with USC, University of Southern Cal, the Trojans, Spartans. They're talking about the Spartans today. Michigan State Spartans shooting the Greeks. The Romans conquered the Greeks. Also very biblical. The New Testament, originally written in ancient Greek. But anyway, on the day that LeBron James' son signs with USC, they put out this new NIL valuation, this new thing that they do with younger pre-professional athletes, and they put it at $5.9 million. And halftime of Game 3, the same. By the way, it was Game 3 on King Charles' coronation. He's King Charles III. When you spell out 3 as a word, it equals 56, like light, like Abrahamic, like the 3 Abrahamic religions, like Genesis 1:3, where God makes light. But the Lakers had 59 points at halftime on the day that Bronny James is valued at $5.9 million. And again, we talk about this number all the time. Why Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year. Why Motown came out in 59. Motown in Detroit. Lance Blanks, drafted by Detroit. The owner from Detroit, big in Cleveland. But anyhow, Slave, Negro, Rasta, Blues, all 59 in Gematria. Repetitive pattern over and over, used in the shaming, the ritualistic death, just rituals with Black history again and again. And I mean, I've talked about it a million times. In that same big book back there that begins with chapter 26, there's a big section on this. In the Bible, it's Ephesians 6, 5 through 9. Ephesians 6, 5. The date this happened could be written May 6th, 6/5, like 6/5. Ephesians 6, 5 through 9. And again, if you're not familiar with that, it's about slavery. It goes, slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ. Obey them not only to win their favor when their eye is on you, but as slaves of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart. Sorry, I probably have the mic too far away, you guys. I'm an idiot. I hope you guys have been able to hear me. Here, let me check in. Have I been too quiet? Have I been too quiet, or have I been hearable? Listenable? Have you guys been able to hear me? I'm sorry, I had the mic so far away. I was thinking I was on my other mic setting, but then I just noticed I'm on this one. I'm fine. Audio's been good. Okay, it's probably louder now. You might need to turn down the volume. But again, just from the top, Ephesians 6, 5 through 9. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ. Obey them not only to win their favor when their eye is on you, but as slaves of Christ, doing the will of God from your heart. Serve wholeheartedly as if you were serving the Lord, not people, because you know that the Lord will reward each one for whatever good they do, whether they are slave or free. And masters, treat your slaves in the same way. Do not threaten them, since you know that he who is both their master and yours in heaven, and there is no favoritism with him. So again, the endorsement of slavery by Christianity, and I have the same screenshot twice there. But again, just ask yourself, what are the odds? I mean, we've educated about this number so much. You know, what they did with Rodney King, a million other things. Just again and again. The guy who got choked out in New York City, a million other things. Just the same stuff over and over. But now this, on the same day. And the other thing is again, this all going back to the Jesuits. The superior general of the Jesuits is Arturo Sosa. From his birthday to May 6th was 175 days. The Jesuits and he served Pope Francis. The calendar's named after the Pope. Notice how it was 175 days after his birthday. Notice how Pope Francis equals 175 and 59. In those same ciphers, Kobe Bryant equals 41 and 157. Kobe died at 41 on the 157th day of his age, on the Pope's 41st day of his age, again, traveling from Catholic Mass. How could this all be synced up? Again, like we always say, go back to the 16th century, the century the Jesuits were created, the century, again, of the Catholic Jewish Alliance, bringing in all this occult Jewish knowledge, gematria, Jewish mysticism, connecting it all. A new calendar, a new language, a new Hebrew Kabbalistic system, essentially, within the church. If you guys don't know, Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year for Pope Francis. We called Biden being number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday in the 59th election. Dead on predictions. Catholic equals 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. JFK dead at age 46. John F. Kennedy, 59. Again, these numbers, they have meaning, but just not isolated meaning. They connect to Black history and slavery, but they also have a connection with the Pope, which is interesting enough. Rome, a society that built a world full of slaves. That same Bible that has Ephesians 6, 5 through 9. By the way, Ephesians equals slavery in Gematria, go figure. Which equals LeBron James, which equals Tuskegee, Jackie, the N-word, and so on. February. The number's 42, like Detroit's on the 42nd pair, like last night. Did you guys see the way LeBron scored last night? LeBron put in the 42nd points last night and the 56th points with 42 seconds on the clock because he was at the free throw line. 42 generations to Jesus, the Society of Jesus. But yeah, there can be no mistake about who's put this code on humanity. Again, they made the calendar. That's how Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year in the awkward month with 28 days. These people, they got the Bible, the language, the calendar, the history, the ongoing history, the planned history to come. They got it all synced up with this Bible code. Now, just about the 175 thing. case you think I'm stretching it there with Pope Francis. Remember, we used that last year to predict why the Warriors would beat the Celtics and make the Celtics 17-5 in the finals in their 22nd appearance in 22 before the playoffs began. Why it looked like Warriors would beat Celtics. It was all decided on the Pope's birthday. Celtics fell to 7-5 at home on the Pope's birthday, losing to the Warriors in the 75th anniversary season, and the Warriors became 7-5 in the finals, winning last year. So anyhow, look at this. The shooting yesterday in Texas, in Allentown, we'll come back to that. It was on the governor's 175th day of his age. Notice on the police vehicles, it says City of Allen, right? City of Allen. So that's not some phrase I'm making up. City of Allen, 175. City of Allen gets shot up on the 175th day of the governor's age and 175 days after the Superior General's birthday. And notice all these 58s. Allen, Texas. Here, I'll just spell it out so you can see it for yourself. All of these phrases are relevant. And again, if you're new here, we talk about these numbers all the time. I'm going to bring it back to even King James. Allen, Texas, 58. City of Allen, 58. You see how it's also 122? Actually, I should have overlapped that all the way. Pope Francis, 122, 175, 58. City of Allen, identical in 3 out of the 4 ciphers on the 175 days after the Superior General's birthday. And remember, the mass shooting in Louisville was April 10th, 149 days after the Superior General's birthday, who's from Venezuela. And then the 149th Kentucky Derby in the same city, Venezuela, the jockey and trainer win, making history. But anyway, coming back to all these 58s. Allen, Texas, 58. City of Allen, 58. Let me get them all in here. Allen, Texas. Allen Police. Fraternal, like fraternal order of police. All these words, 58. In that same cipher, Pope Francis, 58. And again, just remember, 58 special. Calendar, 58. Zodiac, 58. Gregorian, 58. That's the calendar we're on, named after a pope. The word star, 58, but the word stars also 58, like zodiac. Again, they got it all synced up, these people. The language, the calendar, the astrology. It's why the rituals just fit together perfectly. You know, if you understand astrology, you'll understand even more about this and the rituals they do. But 58. Words like Freemasonry also 58, and secret society and Rosicrucian. And just to come back to King James for a moment, the real King James died unexpectedly at age 58. And he was a Freemason and a Rosicrucian. Biblical is also 58. Biblical 58. Jerusalem 58. Masonry secrets. You know, Jerusalem. The Crusades, bringing back the knowledge from Jerusalem. So, again, there's a reason we're talking about certain numbers all the time, like 56 and 58. They're biblical. They're connected to the secret societies. Modern Freemasonry is a Jesuit creation. The first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, does the Masonic hidden hand pose. You know, and again, just like I said, Kobe Bryant's another 58. So is Los Angeles Lakers. I'm rusty with my UK. I know something with the UK's 58 too that I'm overthinking right now. Because again, all this on the day of the King's coronation. But yeah, also, if you're new here, we just talk about shootings on Saturdays, how there's one almost every single week that's pretty big news, that's like mostly the main story of a Saturday. I mean, this is very common now in the post-Sandy Hook age. And you know, here, just to make a point, you guys, I got this point has to be made. R.I.P. to Patrick Dragon, who helped save the entire world from the very evil Adam Lanza. But notice poor Patrick Dragon, you know, he might have saved the day at Sandy Hook, the school established in 1956, where the shooting came 56 years later. But he couldn't survive the COVID. And, you know, Sandy Hook happened in the year of the dragon, and he was Patrick Dragon. But notice how they put a picture of Patrick Dragon posing next to a license plate where all you can see is the 56. And then notice Adam Peter Lanza, the full name of the shooter at Sandy Hook, 56, like the school established in 56 and the shooting in 2012, 56 years later. And again, the Jesuits operate in 112 countries, and everyone had to report that Adam Lanza weighed 112 pounds because Sandy Hook's 112. And the Sandy Hook shooting happened on a date with 58 numerology. The recent Nashville shooting they compared to Uvalde, which was 50. The Nashville shooting was 58 days before the Uvalde anniversary, where 19 cops stood down while 19 children died. But again, also the first vaccine in the U.S., Sandy Lindsay got it on the anniversary of Sandy Hook, a different type of shots. And then the next year, Steph Curry set the three-point shooting record, passing Ray Allen of Yukon, Connecticut, where Sandy Hook was. And again, just the three-point shot, the third shot ritual on the date. That was the same day that I don't even know if I can talk about it. I pointed out they recently took down my video for medical misinformation from the day that happened, back when we covered it live. And I pointed out how that Bill de Blasio ruling came not long after. And remember when New York dropped the vaccine mandate for the city on Kyrie Irving's birthday, who refused to get the shot? You don't think all this stuff's one big connected ritual? Remember what they did with Kyrie and the 113 ritual at the beginning of the year? He goes to Dallas and the whole team falls apart. Man, they were looking good before they got Kyrie, that anti-Semite. But yeah, again, I mean, it blows my mind that the whole world doesn't know about this. As many times as we've talked about all these things, just news, sports, the script, the ritual killing. And here, let me find these screenshots for you, just so you can see with your own eyes. Hold on. And we got to talk about this King James Bible connection. Some new research. I knew I needed to learn more about King James, so I've been reading more about it. I'm like, okay, it's starting to make more sense. Okay, LeBron, with 42 seconds on the clock, scored the 56th points at the free throw line in Game 3. Or hold on. Didn't I just have that screenshot up? I lost it. There it is. 42.1 seconds on the clock at the free throw line. LeBron makes a free throw and then misses to stay on 56. The symbolic number on 5-6 as he becomes 5-6 at home versus Curry. And then down below, earlier in the game, LeBron James making the 42nd points. And then LeBron, yesterday, the Lakers won with 127 points, 127 days after his birthday, as he stayed on 127 all-time playoff losses. And remember, in the game before, he got his 127th playoff loss, and the Warriors won with 127. And Bavarian Illuminati's 127. At the beginning of the week, May 1st was their birthday, their 247th. And the 76ers got their 247th playoff win in that game in the big Illuminati ritual, as we covered. 76ers, like the Illuminati established in 1776 by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. Just the whole 5-6 thing yesterday. Again, Todd Pletcher had 2 horses in yesterday's Derby in posts 5 and 6. And LeBron's doing the 5-6 thing. One of those horses was Kings Barnes. Notice just how LeBron James and Kings Barnes overlap. The 66, Lakers 66, LeBron 66, Charles 66, and Jewish Gematria King 66. So here, this is the new information though. This is the point I got to add on about doing the additional research about the King James Bible, the Catholic Church, LeBron Catholic educated, like so many star basketball players, Catholic Jesuit education. Did I scroll past it? Hold on. Got so much information. This is a big post. Where is the screenshot at that I want? Right here. Okay. So Nick Gilbert, again, dead on his 110th day of his dad's age on 5-6. As LeBron does the Mega 56 ritual. Dan Gilbert and LeBron back to the Cavs. Cavs connected to King Charles on King Charles' coronation. But notice the overlap. 110, 56, 187, 70. Understand, things like Society of Jesus equal 56 and 187. Abrahamic equals 56 and 187, based in the 187 chapters of the Torah. 56 relationship with three Abrahamic religions. Vatican equals 70, like Francis. Pope equals 56. So these numbers have important connections to the Jesuits, if you will. Also to Masonry, to be fair. Freemasons, 56. Ancient and accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, 187. like Washington, D.C., which is the Jesuit city, but also with the Masonic headquarters. When Trump had his convention in Cleveland, right after LeBron won the finals on the real King James' birthday, it was on 18/7, 187 days from Inauguration Day. We'll come more back to why 187 is so big in D.C., the land of the Jesuits and Masons. But this Robert Cecil, he connects with the King James Bible. Again, all of this is happening. Remember, the King James Bible anniversary is May 2nd. Lance Blanks is dead at 56 on May 3rd. Day that the majority of the world writes 35, like Catholic, like Holy See are both 35, like King James is 35, like Steph Curry's 35 years old right now. But this Robert Cecil, check this out. I got to go down. So again, let me just read this little question online. Supposedly this is a common misconception. So the question goes, a friend told me that King James II of England was persecuted by the Catholic Church because the church did not want the king translating the Bible into English so the common people could read it. Is any of this true? Answer, your friend is misinformed. James II of England, who lived after King James, was a Catholic, indeed the last Catholic monarch of England. James was driven from the throne by Protestants who replaced him with his own Protestant daughter and son-in-law for the crime of producing a Catholic male hired to succeed him. To make certain that would never happen again, Parliament quickly passed laws to forbid a Catholic from ever again inheriting the British throne and to forbid the succession of the throne of anyone who married a Catholic, which was the crime of James's older brother, Charles II. This episode in British history is the so-called Glorious Revolution. Your friend is probably thinking of James I of England, 1566. Remember, 66 books in the King James Bible. LeBron equals 66. LeBron James equals 66. Lakers equals 66. Charles equals 66. Again, in Jewish gematria, King 66. So many rituals with LeBron and 66 over the years. So 1566 to 1625, who authorized the Protestant translation of the Bible that bears his name, the King James Version, also known as the Authorized Version. This James ultimately chose to continue the anti-Catholic policies of his predecessor, Elizabeth I. He did so mainly because his anti-Catholic minister and spymaster, Robert Cecil, chose, it is believed, to nurture and then expose the gunpowder plot that was hatched by some disaffected Catholics to blow up Parliament and assassinate the king and his family. That was, remember, the 5th of November. November 5th is the day leaving 56 days left in the year. Thus, the Tupac album, Machiavelli, with the hit song Hail Mary, came out on that day with Tupac on the cross. Society of Jesus, 56. The other year, the Astroworld Festival on that day, where Travis Scott's stage was an upside-down cross, technically a satanic symbol, and then people were stampeded to death. And that was the week that Astros lost the World Series, who also won their first World Series in their 56th season after the Hurricane Harvey, where hurricane is a 56 word. And again, the Jesuits, the first act of weather warfare was admitted to on their birthday. It's another story. But back August 15th, go back and look it up, Operation Popeye, 1952. Hurricanes 52 forwards, 56 in reverse, just like floods 52, like Earth, like Pope, like the 52-week calendar. But the Astros lost the World Series, Astro World Tragedy, and Astro UB40 died, all within days of each other. Just mega ritual. Most people didn't even blink an eye. But the day leaving 56 days left in the year. So Robert Cecil is connected to that history, and might be the influence of the King James Bible. Look at what day he died in history. May 24th, the 144th day of the year, a day of tragedy year after year, because Jesuit orders 144, huge number with them. Last year it was Uvalde on that day. And notice the King James Bible was published May 2nd, 1611, so he's dead the next May. He's dead 1 year and 22 days later. And he died in a leap year, so technically it would have been the 145th day of the year, like Catholic equals 145, like there's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament, like how Israel's established on 14/5 in the huge Jesuit ritual. But yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. You learn that from the Jesuits on, history has just been by this code, nonstop. What I'm showing and what we've discovered in the last decade and gone back all throughout history and looked at and verified, again, this has been going on for all of our lifetimes and way longer than our parents, grandparents' lifetimes. It's been going on. And that's why people are so well adjusted to all the coincidences and the tyranny and giving up their power and think, oh, what can I do? Well, at least LeBron's on and I can enjoy the ball game. I don't know if people enjoy these games. You can just see it. I mean, they'll probably say it, ESPN, man, Celtics came out really flat this game. Well, what's the point of coming out flat? They'll say, oh, I mean, they knew they had a cushion. They got the advantage in Philly. They're still going to have home court advantages, I hate just listening to this chatter from all these former players who are in on the rigging. It's like bullshit. If this is a real league and you have owners that pay guys millions of dollars to go out and win championships, you want to go out and beat the shit out of the other team every game, especially on their own court, and embarrass them. Because then you're going to wrap it up in the next game at home if it's real. If you blow them out, beat them bad on their own court again, you're going to destroy them in game 5 and be done with the series and be resting up for the next one because you're trying to win a championship. You want to get over this. You don't want to put more miles on your tread than you need to. I mean, look at all these guys that can't even play the whole season anymore. Kawhi Leonard's got to take off every other game and then misses the crucial games in the playoffs, but they're still going to pay him $30 million a year? Please. These leagues are such a joke, you guys. And I'm sure Kawhi's just fine. I'm sure he's just fine. Yeah, I'm not even going to get into this right here, but just the numbers, the biblical numbers all over the things of authority, the things that rule over us. The same old code. Pope 52 forwards, 56 in reverse, the 52-week calendar year named after him. 56, the magic number. Fratelli Tutti, the Pope's encyclical about what to do about COVID. That should have been up on the list. There's several more. Regeneron, what Trump promoted. Again, the pandemic declared in 2020, 56 years after Trump's Jesuit education began, in the time of the 56th New York governor, Cuomo, who went to the Jesuit school, Fordham, like Trump. Then he had his brother on CNN, Andrew Cuomo. But yeah, you guys, I mean, this stuff, it's so wicked. It's so evil. It's mind-blowing to me that more people aren't receiving this work, sharing it, waking up to it. And I think all it takes for people to shut down with sharing it is just have that one encounter where the person's like, shut up, schizo, I want to watch the game. And people's feelings get hurt and they're like, this isn't even worth it. These people are assholes. But again, it's just like we went out to LA and we shared this information all over the city. And a lot of people stopped and listened, got a lot of thank yous. Had maybe a handful of people who came by and called us schizos. There was a lot more positive than negative. And I'll tell you what, man. If they're gonna continue at this rate with all the stuff, when I was in LA, if you guys missed it, I was pointing out how their new place is called Crypto.com Arena, and obviously the new nickname is going to be the Crypt, which is where you keep the dead bodies beneath the church. And just I made the point about just wait until that's your nickname and keep listening to what I'm saying about the bodies stacking up with LeBron. Hold on, Crypt definition. Let's try this out. An underground rumor vault beneath a church used as a chapel or burial place. The Crypt, where LeBron plays now. All the bodies over the years. Okay, so yeah, we pretty much got all the main things in here. Again, read this post with your own eyes because I did skip around a little bit. There's a lot of information here if you're new. I think just reading this post, there might be some typos because I don't often proofread so much to get done. It takes a while to compile these posts, but yeah, again, the rituals that take place in the present are rituals that pay tribute to the past. It's that George Orwell 1984 thing. Remember 1984, the year LeBron was born, the year Mark Zucker was born. Again, just wait how they're going to do people in the meta, you guys. I just see it, man. There's going to be a setting in meta to watch, Lakers courtside like your Jack Nicholson. People are going to love it. But people are going to love living in virtual reality. Oh my God, it only costs $5 for the Jack Nicholson view. Maybe it'll cost more than that. The money's becoming worth less. But it'll be a lot cheaper than paying courtside. But yeah, the 1984 boys and the point record set in 1984. And again, don't forget when LeBron set the point record, it had stood for 38 years. He broke the record on the 38th day of the year, scoring 38 points in the 38,000 range. 38's the number of death. We just saw it again yesterday. As soon as Mage won the race, his team dedicated the race to the member of the team who just died at age 38 after a short battle with cancer. Mage with the 4 letters with the jockey running 4 races on the day. I think he was the only jockey in the main event that ran 4 races on the day. And that was after the 4 dead horses, which the number did increase after the race. But yeah, again, all perfectly connected. So think about it. Think about the odds of all of these things being a coincidence every day. And again, there's advantages to knowing. I mean, there's money to be made. And here's something I want to challenge people who don't like that I somewhat encourage gambling. Again, if you guys have ever signed up for my Patreon, I encourage being responsible, betting small to win big, because you can do that with this knowledge. A lot of people can turn $1 into $50, $100. They won't hit it every time, but they'll hit it 4 or 5 times a month, and they're only betting $1 a day. So over the course of the month, they net a few $100s. Again, we teach how to be responsible, have fun with the knowledge, not break the bank, but build the bankroll and just take advantage of a rigged game. And for all the people who think that's bad, I want you to think about this. What is it to work? I know probably a lot of you guys who think that's bad, you probably might work for one of these big, nasty corporations because they're the main employer in town. They're the only gig going in town, and you wish you could do something else, but that's all that there is. But that's what you got to do to pay the bills. If that's you and you judge people who learn how to bet $1 to turn it into 20, 30, 40, 50, $100, aren't you also participating in the game, but even like dedicating your time and labor and energies to essentially serving these people? Whereas on this side, we're trying to rob back from the tyrants. You know what I mean? Again, people just need to put their judgments away, understand why I do what I do. Everything I do is about getting the word out there. People love sports and entertainment. That's a good way to connect the work. People become more interested in the work when they make money. I mean, you guys saw what happened last May when I was in Buffalo. If you were watching those streams, the Hebrew Israelites finally broke down debating with me and calling me white devil before we had our transition and became friends for the days I was there, which did happen. And it was one of them recognized his brother was watching my live stream as it happened. And he started texting one of the Hebrew Israelites and said, dude, that's Zach. That guy's helped me out a lot. I've made 70,000 since I started following his knowledge. And then what was funny, though, for a moment is when that guy blurted that out, it made them all stop and pause. But then the leader quickly caught on and he said, wait a minute, you're teaching my people to gamble? And I said, hold on now. I said, that's not the real purpose of my work, but a lot of people do take to that. And again, but it made them listen more. And then we had a breakthrough, and then we had an understanding, and then a cooperation. And the leader went from calling me white devil to saying, you know what, maybe you're all right. And that's a big thing for a Hebrew Israelite. Again, Hebrew Israelites are out there preaching that white people are white devils. Unless somehow through the bloodlines you're connected to one of the tribes. And then that's what they started. They're like, well, maybe you are related. But anyway, the point is to bridge the gap. And Richard Quinn, if you're out there, like the thing that Richard still hasn't figured out is he still gets mad because then when we were in New York City for September 11th, we said, let's go see if we can do this with the New York City Hebrew Israelites. And Richard Quinn still doesn't get why, I'm still annoyed with him because he still can't figure out why I'm annoyed, it's like, how can't you figure it out? Richard Quinn, when they called us white devils, got triggered and started fighting back and screaming at them racist and kind of like stood up to him like he wanted to fight. And I was like, what are you doing, Rich? We know that this is what the Hebrew Israelites are about. We're seeing if we can, again, break them with the knowledge and get them to see that we're all right and have a similar message that they might take interest in. And again, I mean, that's why you got to have the right people on your team. Like Richard Quinn's always reaching out, and I know he's a good guy that means well, and he really wants to come out and pound payment again. But the thing is, like, I just see a guy like that as maybe a liability. He still hasn't figured out why he blew, because it turned into an ugly scene after, like, he stepped up like he wanted to fight the Hebrew Israelites for calling us white devils. And then Richard said to me, he goes, didn't you hear what he called me? He called me a white devil racist. And I was like, that's what Hebrew Israelites do. That's why we're trying to see if we can overcome that by sharing knowledge. We already know what they're about, so we can't get triggered by their words. He still hasn't figured that out. He keeps responding back like, well, you ran up against certain groups. I'm just like, okay. But anyway, you guys, we all got to elevate our bar. The one thing Richard does that's great is he gets the word out there. Again, more people got to start helping share the work. But this work really can bring people together. That's the point I'm trying to make. Knowledge can bring people together. They got us all divided, fractured, fighting amongst ourselves. Knowledge can help us see through the way the game is played and who's playing the game and really the evil that is ruling over us. I mean, this stuff is so blatant. To have books about this for years, a million presentations about this, the same numbers, and then they just know that they're so confident that they can just keep doing it, keep getting away with it. That has to change. That's going to change when there's groups of people in front of every sports stadium sharing about this. I've been saying I'm going to go down to LA for Kobe Bryant Day. If they go further with this with LeBron, if they're really going to do this year and take LeBron to the finals, if that's going to happen, I'm going to have to fly down to LA in the time of the finals. I don't know if I'll spend the night, but might be in there early, out there all day, flight home at the end of the day, and again, just to talk about all this stuff. I mean, we were just out there talking about the significance of all these numbers, why Kobe died on the 26th, what 56 means, why Gavin Newsom. I mean, we were just in California talking about all this stuff, how it all fits in with Kobe. And by the way, how it all fits in. Kobe. See how virus is 26? Coronavirus, 56, right? China, 56. The Wuhan lab from 56. Bryant, 26 forwards, 37 in reverse. Dead on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant. Kobe in Los Angeles, which is 137 like Bryant. Kobe Bryant, dead at 41 on the 157th day of his age. 157 is the 37th prime. But yeah, again, I can't make the point any clearer. Here, if anybody else wants to come on the stream and add some additional information, let me get the link in the chat. I will get the link in the chat if anybody else has more information to share. But and also think about taking calls. But first, I'd rather just get people on the stream because the sound's a lot better. Sometimes the phone calls don't get picked up that well. If you'd like to join the stream, the link is in the chat. And yeah, and also, I mean, if there's somebody out there like the types of people who walk by and call us schizos and think all this stuff is just schizo, yeah, again, tell me how it's schizo about a player who's connected to Detroit, like the Gilbert family. He's dead the day before Nick Gilbert at age 26, and he was the 26th pick of the draft and died exactly 26 weeks after his NBA debut, where he averaged 2.6 points in his last season in Minneapolis, the original home of the Lakers, who picked up their 26th win over the Warriors on the same day this happened with Nick Gilbert. And again, the Gilberts connected with the Cavaliers, connected with LeBron. Cavaliers named after King Charles, the day King Charles' coronation when crown is 26. That also needs to be up there. Let me fix that and get that in the post. While we wait for some people to get in the room, let's also make the point. By the way, you see how crown is 73? Charles was 73 when the Queen died. 73 when the Queen died. Yesterday, Charles became the 62nd English monarch. The Kentucky Derby, it was the first Derby with 5 scratches since the 62nd Kentucky Derby. The favorite Angel of Empire was in post 14. The last time that post won was 62 years ago. And Pletcher entered a record number of 62 horses. But crown 73, Charles 73 when he becomes king, 62, 62nd English monarch, all these 26s yesterday. I mean, you really think that's a coincidence? Again, I mean, I thought when we figured out how synced up the whole language was, when we uncovered these 4 ciphers, I really thought like, well, you know what? We were growing very rapidly and this work was taking off. Maybe what I thought then would have become true by now if it wasn't for all the censorship and deletions. But I really did feel like in 2016, when this stuff was taken off, when we just nailed everything that year, I felt like pretty soon every English-speaking person was going to know about Gematria. Yeah, I mean, this stuff is just blatant. And Kobe had to die right on the 26th when King James comes over. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't see it. Okay, that piece is in there. That needed to be in there. That's what I mean. There's always more too. Always more. Yeah, and if you're new here, I mean, it's too bad you're new here. You'd recognize this in not even 5 seconds. You'd recognize that in a split second if you knew how much we talked about 59 and Black history, and just the fact that LeBron had 59 at halftime on the same day that his son signs in USC in Los Angeles. All right, we got Yo and Mark in the room. And what's up, Yo?
Yo, what's up, Zach?
Yeah, what's going on?
So I don't know if you went over this already, but yesterday, 5-6 would be 26 days to the finals day. And if LeBron plays in the finals, it'll be his 56th finals game on game 1.
You know, that's a good point. The only number I didn't cover in this crown list, again, Charles was 73 when he became king. By the way, the word queen is similar. Queen is 73, 62, 26 like crown. But again, he was 73, 62nd English monarch, all the 26, the 28. The name Stephen means crown. The name Stephen, like Steph Curry, it's spelled the same way as Stephen, but it means crown. If the Lakers win the series over the Warriors, they're going to have 28 wins. So,
yeah. But the main thing I wanted to add is, I know you touched on it. You had a video before the live started about the Michigan State victim. So I found it interesting, like they kept talking about him during the game. So I just decided to look into it a little bit. And his name is John Howe. And I put it in the calculator, equals 35. And they say that the shooting, there were 3 killed, 5 injured. And another interesting thing about his name is that it has 2 matches with the Celtics, 71 and 118. And I thought it was interesting that they chose this game to have him because it's game 4, which 4 is the number of death, right?
indeed.
And then also the shooting was 83 days ago. We know 83 is murder. And then also Michigan State equals 57, and today's 5-7. So it makes sense why they chose today to have him at the game.
Indeed. And again, James Harden puts in the 44th points. All game, they're talking about the Michigan State shooting on the 44th day of the year. Notice how in the dark blue cipher, that's considered the most pure cipher, shooting 44. On the 44th day of the year, the Michigan State shooting. For the record, Michigan does have the 44 connection as well. But all game, they're talking about Harden and the Asian survivor from China. Asians also 44. But look, basketball shooting. James Harden ends up putting in the 44th points, and the camera immediately goes to the young Asian man in the audience as they talk again about the Michigan State shooting. It's blatant, and it's a day after the Allen shooting by the numbers. I mean, that's why it's just like, this is why everyone should understand this knowledge. If anybody took a quiz and said, what's one number you associate with shootings that you learned from Zach? The number that almost everybody in that group would say is 44, because that's what I call the shooting number. Even things like mass shooter 44 and gunfire is 44, and it's always the police, and a lot of times it looks like drills, but officers 44 in department. And again, a lot of police are military, and military's 44, like infantry's 44, like troopers 44, like soldiers 44. And think about soldier. The Catholic Church is a sun cult that's been a military order, a ruling order. Sol, S-O-L, the first letters in soldier means sun. Die, D-I-E, and then R's the 18th letter. I mean, you got to be 18 to be in the military. Sun, die, 18. Almost like what happens to a lot of young people in war. And
wasn't Pistol Pete known for number 44 as well? Pistol Pete Maravich.
Did he wear 44? I forget now. You got me on that one.
I think he did for
yeah, you're right. He wore number 44.
Yeah.
And he wore it down in Atlanta too, the 44 state Georgia.
Yeah, so there's another 44. But yeah, I just want to add in about the John Howe, the survivor from the shooting, how they kept mentioning him during the game.
Yeah, and Harden puts in the 44th points. I made a short video that I uploaded on Gematria Effect Sports and Gematria Effect News 25.
Yeah.
Before I did this stream to document that 44 ritual in the sport game. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks for your time, Zach.
Yeah, take care. All right, what's up, Mark?
Zach is the most grade A person.
Okay, Mark's a troll. All right, what's up, KXNG.
Oh man, Zach, it's a pleasure, bro, to be on your platform right now talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, I appreciate and really take in everything you give us on this platform as far as your information. I was told by one of my master teachers about you prior to the pandemic happening in 2020. So I've been on to you for a minute, man, and everything you saying about the 44s and just recently, I not only understand and see what you're talking about, but I relate to it because I don't I don't really get entertainment out of this. I mean, I'm having a human experience, so I'm enjoying my life. But for the most part, it's like a eureka feeling when I hear these numbers and I hear all of these, you know, uh, 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 events happening. Now, I'm not, for, you know, anything bad or anything good. I'm just being and observing everything that I'm seeing. So, um, I just wanted to chime in when you were talking about the 44. That resonated with me because uh, I wore number 44 for my jersey, and the jersey was all blue, and I didn't want that number, but it stuck with me. And that was at the time when Obama was president. He was like the 44th president. Uh, Interesting, information. But I'm just seeking more about this gematria that you have been telling us about. I'm not too really fond of how everything is like adding up to these numbers, But it's interesting how it's making sense to me when I hear it though. Uh,
Sure. So I can tell you're young, and thank you for being here, and thank you to your master teacher for spreading the information and coming on and sharing all that today. Well, how do you feel? Do you feel like people should still be buying tickets and merchandise for these sports leagues, or do you think when people become aware of this, maybe they should stop supporting these leagues financially?
that last part, when people become more aware of it, that's when it all comes to an end. But as of right now, I mean, what can we do? It's not that many of us, but we're starting somewhere, which is good.
When I bring up the thing about groups of people getting outside the stadiums and doing like what we did down in LA, is that something you feel like you'd ever be comfortable with doing in your lifetime?
Definitely.
What city are you in?
I'm in Chicago.
Chicago. Okay, I was through Chicago on the way to New York. I got to come to Chicago and spend more time. Yeah, here's what for all the people in the community. This is what I'd really like you guys to see to get the Patreon people pledging $1 a month back to the level it was before I drove all over the nation last year. You guys, I've been talking to Sweet Lady about this idea of flying to a city a month to do something like we did in LA, couple days in each city, 2 real good days, at least once a month, some months more if we need to. But yeah, just going major city to major city. So again, Chicago. There's always sports stuff going on in Chicago.
May I
I
say?
think
May
this
I
needs
say?
to go ahead.
Now, I'm getting more comfortable. I'm young, but I'm . I'm not that young, but it's, I don't.
27's young. It's good to be young.
Yeah, appreciate that. I don't do this, because I know what I know about myself. I don't get on platforms. I don't interact with servers like this because I know me. But what I want to get out to those that are listening, you can use that. What happened in 2020, prior to the pandemic, I comment on your Twitter and even in the chat, and I always never really like down it. If it's good, I say impressive. If it's good and I know it, I say the script is working. The script is everything's going according to scripture. That's me. I'm talking like that. Because once that happened, and I served in the military as well. But the odd thing about my sir, my military time contract, I wasn't allowed to leave the states. Okay. Now, you would think that's what you get in there for, to travel. Didn't happen with me. A lot of stuff didn't happen like that for me. So when I get out, 2017, I get out. And I never been to California, you know. But once Kobe and all that stuff happened, the pandemic, it's like my movement, my range has expanded. I've been able to move more. But before, I wasn't doing that. I was kind of like settled in one spot. And I feel as though the script works for all of us, not just whatever the Jesuits are trying to do with it. You know, they're just not going to tell us what we need to know about it, in my opinion. I might be wrong, but that's how I'm seeing it from my point of view. And
Yeah,
that's why,
absolutely. There is another side to another reason to know this knowledge. I mean, there's a lot more to it. It does expose what's going on with the Jesuit scripts, but there's other reasons to know the knowledge.
right, it makes me feel about the movie with Jim Carrey. What's that movie called when they was watching
Truman Show.
the Truman Show? You know, uh, that's how I'm seeing it now. It might not be, exactly like that. You know how Hollywood tries to, uh, give you just a glimpse of what they're doing, but it's up to you to see it though. Just like the movie They Live. You got to put them shades on, man, to see. And it's not necessarily like physical shades. You got to tap in, man. You got to open up whatever's in you, you know. But I feel as though I have reached that, and it's more levels to go. Like even when Kobe was talking about, the Nike commercial, he had all the celebrities there, and Kanye was like, "How many more great hits can I get?" And he's like, "Further, further." And as a young one, I didn't understand what the fuck Kobe was trying to say either. But now I get it, and I don't understand why Kobe ain't here no more, because he had more time to talk about that. But you know, going back to the number 59 slaves and stuff. Now, I don't know if I'm losing you or if I'm getting off topic. Please
No,
let me
you're
know.
okay, but maybe try to wrap it up in the next 2 minutes because we do have another gentleman waiting on hold. But I'm listening. Go ahead. I always like to give young people the mic.
Right. So the thing is about what I want to get at, just between me and you and anyone else that's listening. I watch LeBron James not because of basketball. I'm watching this because it was always ritualistic with me, man. From the start. I never cared about basketball or sports like that. But when he came on the scene at 16, back in like 2002 or something, or 2001, I was in school, picked up a book, saw him on there, and I've been following him ever since. And it's just been interesting how his career has been going up until this point. But I'm done right there, man. So much more I want to share, but we'll get to another time. I'll allow the other people to chime in with you. But it was a pleasure, man, to be on your platform, and I look forward to finding out more and diving even
Okay, here,
deeper.
one question before you go. So, if I come out to Chicago, maybe at the sports stadium's a good spot, but what would be like a good community to go to where there might be people who would listen?
The Meta Center, Chicago.
It's called the Medicine?
The Meta Center.
Oh, the Meta Center. Okay, the Meta Center. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's what we'll do then. All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. It's a
All right.
pleasure.
Take care. Okay. And Mel's been real patient. What's up, Mel?
Hey there, Zach. Listen, you can hear me?
Loud and clear.
Very good, Zach. So first of all, I spoke to you a couple of times before. Like, you are absolutely incredible, Zach. I can't praise you enough because I don't know another person in the world that exposes this kind of knowledge. And this is
Thank you.
so real. I mean, people have to realize like you're like a unique person in this situation, you know? Like there's nobody else that talks about this ever at all. Like I've seen other people talk about gematria and stuff like that, but it's like it's always I've had people say it's only relevant for Hebrew and it doesn't matter for anything else. Like idiots, you know? So anyway, Zach, First of all, congratulations, and you're very eloquent. The way you explain this, there's no denial. Like I can only, you have to be an idiot to not to understand what you're saying, you know. And so I'm not a fanatic about like basketball or any of the sports, but however, I clearly see the connections, and it's undeniable. So there is an elite group apparently that definitely is doing this, and they're very advanced, Zach. They are. It is the. I believe it's the differential. You know, it's to keep the sheep like where they are, and I'm the knowledgeable one, and these guys are the idiots, and that's the reason. So there is some truth behind what they're doing, apparently. For example, Zach, I don't know if you know about this astrotheology, how all these Abrahamic religions and all religions, right? They describe the way the sun travels as above, so below. It's the way the sun travels to the zodiac belt. You mentioned the astrology. This
Right.
is critical. Like if you look at Jesus, he's a metaphor of the sun. And there's no doubt about it. Look, he fished out 153 fish, right?
Right.
When he told them it's the Vesica Pisces number. He's
Right.
born of the Virgin, which is the sun is always announced by Venus, and which is the Virgo, the only women. That's why he's got Mary Magdalene as the only person. There are all these connections, and he goes through the thing, and then he gets betrayed by Scorpio with a kiss in November, where he's coming down to the months of winter. He's going to be dead, the sun. And he's crucified with the spear of Sagittarius. That's why the centurion or whatever the guy is, that guy pokes him with a spear to see if he's dead or not. All of these symbols, right? Cleverly built into the story. And Jesus could have been real, and I believe he is. And because I believe there are all these stories of these encounters with Jesus, or God may be responding to people's faith. However, Jesus could have been a real person, but these people definitely paganized it. It's a sun cult that worships astrological signs and the movements of the sun as it travels through the zodiac belt. And this is the reason why they're doing all this, and they are aware of something that the people are kept away from. So this is one of the reasons they tell you, oh my God, astrology is evil, don't go, don't touch, don't go near there, it's all evil. Just be a sheep, like just shut up and be like what Christ told you. It's like don't do anything, everything is sin and everything is evil, and you can't do anything. You know what I mean? In the meantime, they realize the real truth, which is as above, so below. Everything is, there's a connection within the self. I don't know if you ever heard of this guy called Santos Bonacci.
I'm aware of Santos.
Yeah, this guy, Zach, he's very good. He makes all these connections, and I saw all this, and I'm trying to make all these connections. So because you once again have this astrological sense to all this, and you're bringing that astrological touch into it. So you might want to look into that. So that's one thing. So once again, Zach, you fantastic job you're doing. Keep up the great work, and these guys, and you have to be obviously very, very clever. And I don't know how you're doing it, but to avoid the censorship or whatever, they're going to come after you, So
I
you're
don't know
being,
if I'm avoiding it. I'm having to shuffle channels a lot, but
yeah, but
yeah,
you're being very clever in the way that you're like, going around it, somehow. We hope that you'll be like successful with more. That's what I'm hoping, with more
indeed,
success. I wish you more success with your Patreon thing, Zach. Keep up the great
indeed.
work, and everybody that's listening. Like, I cannot believe the idiots that don't understand plain freaking English, which can be
Well,
like,
here's the irony and what's so funny about how you've concluded. So Santos Bonacci could be defined as an idiot by your definition, because Santos Bonacci's taken a lot of time to trash my name and slander the work and tell people Gematria is trash. I
did
know he's
he?
changed his tune in recent years, but yeah, and I was pointing out back in 2015 and 2016 that he's another guy that got released from prison and immediately came out and started talking about the flat Earth.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes. I thought
yeah,
he was an
he's not
idiot talking
I
about
mean,
the
he does
flat
have
Earth.
good information and he has a nice voice to listen to, but there's so many guys who got released from prison who preach the flat Earth like it's the most important thing, and he's another one of them.
Right. I
So,
saw that. I was quite surprised. I said, like, this guy's made so much sense about this astrotheology, and what the heck is this about flat Earth? So I was like confused. So now I understand. So I don't know the real story, Zach, but there's a lot of truth with that astrotheology part of it. So I have to
yes.
tell you, yeah. So once again, Zach, I watch all your shows and everything, and I'm following you. I'm from New York, and I keep following you. And so keep up the great work. And I guess I'll let you go to the next caller, I guess.
All right, Mel. Next time we're out in New York, come out and stand with us.
Yeah, without a doubt. I definitely want to come and meet you and shake your hand because I'm one of your biggest fans. I've been following you since the early
You know
days.
we were there in September?
Yeah. In September you were there. Yeah, absolutely. And I could have come there. I don't know how I missed it. I don't know if I
Okay.
actually missed the.
We'll do it again. We'll do it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, you're doing it again, right? When is this going to be?
September 11th.
Oh, this coming September? Perfect, Zach. This time I'll definitely be there to meet you.
Okay. All right. I look forward to it.
Looking to keep up the great work, Zach.
All right. Thank you, Mel.
Have a great day.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye.
By the way, I don't have a problem with anyone released from prison. There's a lot of good people in prison. There's a clear thing with convicts who are big flat earthers on YouTube. The white rapper out of Colorado, I forget what his name is, ODD Reality. Again, did time in prison for raping a woman. Came out, became a flat earther. Richie from Boston's another one. And I just find it interesting how many convicts are full-time YouTube flat earthers. So. Okay. And the other thing all those guys have in common is they all try to trash Gematria. It's like, really? So flat Earth's more important than what I'm doing. Okay. Arguing about the shape of the Earth is more important than what's proving what's going on Earth. Okay. Okay. And again, you guys, just the power of Gematria. And again, thank you to everyone who supports the work. But in today's notes, I recommended a nice payout upset today. And it was the Rockies beating the Mets. And what it was is, here, I'll show you. It's 5-7, right? And the Rockies pitcher, if he would have got a win today, he'd become 5-7 away for his career on 5-7. We call that the Mets number. Just 57 rituals in Mets games all the time, even when the date's not 5-7, right? But Mets is 57 in Gematria in the most simple cipher. And then when you run it in reverse numerology, New York Mets is 57. So this team loves 57. We feasted on this Mets 57 pattern for a year. Today, the Mets were a big price, not much of a payout at all. You had to bet 200 to win 100. The Rockies were on the flip side of that with a great narrative to win and a great payout. And, just like in extra innings, you could have easily taken advantage of the Orioles-Braves game. Orioles pitcher had a chance to fall to 2-2 for the year. Orioles stay on 22 losses. The game went to extra innings 2-2. I mean, that's where you get the real-time betting confidence that that's what they're doing. They're paying tribute to 22 and the Braves again, as the Orioles exit the series on 22 wins. And again, you guys, this knowledge, it's like no other. You can take advantage of the stock market, the rig sports. You can break out of the matrix. You can see through the lies. You can see how it's all scripted together. That's why all these people that are like, they come and trash my work because they're flat earthers. It's like, what can you do with flat earth? Like, can flat earth help you out with the market, or flat earth can help you, find yourself in a nonstop debate where you don't have enough evidence to ever win it because you can't even come up with a model for how your flat earth works. The NHL's rigged the same way. I mean, we were just talking about that. That's why you got to know it forward and backwards. Remember when the Bruins just set the record with 63 wins on April 9th, the 99th day of the year, beating the Red Wings? See how Red Wings is 99? See how record is 63 forwards, 99 in reverse? Record's also 36 forwards and backwards. And notice how Thunder is. When LeBron set the points record, he came in 36 points shy against the Thunder. And then he scored those 36 and 2 more for 38 on the 38th day of the year, breaking the 38-year record that had stood from the year he was born in the 38,000 point range. Again, you learn these ciphers, you see through how rigged it is. Thunder's also 99, like record, who he sets the record against. In the year of all this stuff with the King, And the reason I keep putting this up here, I talked about this back in 2015, you guys. What does it mean for LeBron James to become the first ever athlete to sign a lifetime deal with Nike in the 44th year of the company? Again, 44 is the number of killing. Nike's headquartered in the suburb of Portland, Oregon, if you didn't know that, the 33rd state. But Portland has that Gematria 44, like Rip City. his nickname Portland, which it got through the basketball team. But we know how deadly 44 is, and just all these deaths connected to LeBron over the years. I was already looking at the deaths connected to LeBron before this even happened. I mean, this is 2015. Think about how many times I've talked about suspicious deaths synced up with LeBron and clear basketball rituals where the numbers are so obvious if you're just paying attention. See, the reason nobody catches it is because we're looking, right? We're going, look at that. The Lakers are getting their 26th win over the Warriors in the playoffs as the son of the Cavs owner dies at 26, as Lance Blanks from Detroit, like the Cavs owner, the 26th pick of the draft, dies 26 weeks after his debut anniversary NBA date. And then just seeing how he averaged 2.6 points in his last season with Minneapolis, the original home of the Lakers. And again, to get this information, you just got to know the sites to go to. Basketball Reference is a great site for any and all things basketball. Lance Blanks, again, NBA debut November 2nd. From that day to his death, 26 weeks on the nose. His last season in the NBA with Minnesota, 2.6 points. You know? He was 26 years old, too. He was 26 his last NBA season. I mean, isn't it just blatant, you guys? Here, in case I'm like, what do people like watch my videos and think I'm just making everything up to make it fit? They don't realize that like this is real measurements in a real system. Are they checking? And he died May 3rd, you guys. Look at it. From November 2nd, his NBA debut anniversary to his death, 26 weeks. Last year in the league, age 26, averaged 2.6 points per game. I mean, it's just Minneapolis, the home of the Lakers. 26 win over the Warriors. I mean, I keep repeating myself, but this is what they do day after day, year after year. I mean, I don't know where the room is to think that this is a coincidence. And, you know, here, just the other point about, do you remember the first game of Saturnalia was in Minneapolis this past year? It was December 17th, Saturnalia, the Colts versus the Minnesota Vikings, the NFL record for a comeback. But Saturn, Gematria 93. They played that game on Saturday. It was an NFL Saturday game, the first game of Saturnalia. We dominated college basketball at the 93 that day. Huge payday from understanding this. But Saturn 93, Minneapolis, Minnesota 93, the city on the 93rd Meridian. Remember Jalen, who played for Gonzaga, who was from Minneapolis, who won the game for Gonzaga, the Jesuit school, on the 93rd day of the year with the half-court shot, scoring the 93rd points, and then his high school in Minneapolis burned down? So, again, 93, big Saturn number, big Minneapolis number. Saturn's connected to time. Saturn has a 30-year return. This guy's dead 30 years later. In Hebrew gematria, Saturn has a gematria value of 56, by the way. And in English, or septenary gematria, Saturn has a gematria value of 26. So Saturn actually has a connection with 26 and 56 outside of the base ciphers, factoring in with what they've done with this guy. You know, some people saw the King's coronation, how the guy quickly walked through the background in the black cloak that looked like the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper is associated with Saturn. Saturn's scythe comes from the scythe in the astrological symbol for Saturn. So, and again, these are the things we've been talking about all this time. Nike, their symbol is a ring of Saturn, the swoosh. It's a ring of Saturn. LeBron on the lifetime deal with Nike, while the company's 44. I should go back and re-decode this. I mean, this is 2015 in my elementary decoding days. But, wait a minute. Were the Cavs and Warriors playing when that deal happened? Wow. Okay. You know how we've been talking about the 127 thing? I'm glad I went back and looked at this. You know how we've been talking about the 127 thing? The Warriors won with 127, giving LeBron his 127th postseason loss. And then the Lakers just won with 127 points, 127 days after LeBron's birthday. And he stayed on 127 postseason losses. His signing date with Nike was Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th. 127. Just like how 9/11 they called the new Pearl Harbor, and buildings 1, 2, and 7 fell in New York City. Building 7 its collapse announced before it happened by the BBC. Plane wasn't hit by a building, holding all the federal court documents for the WorldCom and Exxon lawsuits, and just happened to collapse like a demolition that day, 7-8 hours later. But 127 special because in Gematria, remember, just had the big Illuminati rituals. Bavarian Illuminati's got the 127, and Scottish Rite of Freemasonry equals 127. And part of the Illuminati's plan was to infiltrate Freemasonry. Illuminati founded by a Jesuit. The Jesuits created modern Freemasonry. All these things go together anyway. It's like, in a way, it's like, is that like more contrived history that they put in the folds? People are like, oh yeah, it got taken over. But did it really get taken over? I mean, it was made by the same people from the beginning, so. Okay. Here we go. Young guy came back from the chat. All right, something more to say?
Yeah. You was talking about 38s, and this the part of the title what you said this shit get real evil, man, because I don't know how I put this together, but it came to me, bro. And there's no coincidences. But when you were talking about Oklahoma being the place or the team that LeBron, achieved these very legendary, iconic feats in entertainment or, his field. And it's ironic that the first big accomplishment he did was win a ring versus Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, before Oklahoma City got a team, they had the New Orleans Hornets, which are the Pelicans now.
Oh, hold on. I thought you were about to, I don't save your point about New Orleans Pelicans because I want to hear that. But I was expecting you to say something else. Again, I made the point about why he did it against the Oklahoma City Thunder. A big part of it is they came from Seattle. They were the Seattle Supersonics, and Seattle was the last city to have a major father-son tandem. And the day that LeBron set the points record, he said the next thing he wants to do is play with Bronny on the same court at the same time in the NBA. So you'd have the James father-son duo, the first father-son duo in pro sports since Seattle with the Griffeys. And the Griffeys are from Ohio as well, if people didn't know that. That's why Ken Griffey went to the Reds, Cincinnati, Jesuit town, Xavier. But I think that's the real reason that they had him do it against the Thunder, because they're from Seattle. But here, I want to hear what you're saying about the New Orleans Pelicans.
I think I'm gonna do some more research about what I'm saying, because it just came to me as you were saying the 38, and it kind of got a little music connected with it, because the whole 38 thing, LeBron being 38, breaking these records, that word record you brought up, and things like that made me think of the artist from New Orleans. What's his name? NBA young boy named NBA.
He has that 38 chain.
Yeah, and Ja Morant kept saying the same shit. It's a parade inside my city. It makes me think of
Memphis equals 38. City of death. So many death rituals there, including MLK. Pretty much MLK's whole family died in a 38 ritual. The Boulay has a big connection with 38 as well. The Boulay, just like the King family's connected to the Boulay.
Right, like the tattoo on his chest.
Right.
All right, man. I'm gonna chill and let you handle the rest. I don't want to chime in anymore. I do some more research and we'll talk again whenever.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem, man.
All right, you have a good one. All right, we don't have a lot of guests, but we got the young guy on twice. I like the way he's thinking and expressing himself, and happy to share his differences of opinions. Let me say thank you to the super chatters. John Mendoza chipped in $1. Thank you very much. Billy Boy chipped in $2. It says message deleted. I don't know if it was a troll or if he deleted his own message. Here, I'll tell you what. If a troll ever wants to leave up a super chat, don't delete their message no matter how dumb it is. I'll address their message. If they want to pay for their message, even if it's spammed BS, I'll address it. So, Carl Streener chipped in 5 British pounds. Thank you again, Carl. I hope you're doing better. He says 2 and 8 numbers equals 10 on Monday, the 8th of May, 2023. 1, the prime number, is the correct Zachary. Is 1 a prime number? Technically, 1 is not a prime number. Some sources will tell you 1 is a prime number, but technically 2 is the first prime number. So in official math, 2 is the first prime number. They say 1 does not count as a prime. Prime numbers are those that can only be divided by themselves and 1. Thus, why 1's not a prime number, because it is 1. It makes 1 the most unique number, the only number that fits in all numbers. So, but yeah, that is true. The 8 horse won the Derby. Monday's the 8th. It's 5-8. Big shooting with the 58. So we'll see if that means something. The game's in overtime. Hey, you know what? You know what else stood out today that was real funny? So if you guys didn't notice, that Braves-Oakland game, they started that earlier than they've started any weekend game all year. It's the first time a game started at 8:30 Pacific, 11:30 Eastern. Typically, the earliest games will be about 9:05 Pacific, 12:05 Eastern. So that is an earlier start by at least 30 minutes. A lot of times on a Sunday, the first game will be at like 10:30, 2 hours later. But notice what they did. They had the game on TV, and it went to extra innings, and it was a longer game. It's just, and it ended up being a big Braves 22 ritual. But that's, if you just pay attention, that's how you also realize the script. It's like, no wonder they started the game so early, because they knew it was going to be a longer than normal game. And yeah, maybe that's why we got less participation. People are watching the games right now. But anyway, congrats to everyone who won on the Rockies upsetting the Mets. That was the one game I highlighted today. There's other games that look good, but that was the game that definitely stood out with the big value and the big narrative. And again, for people who are considering signing up for the Patreon, I don't know why Itachi, is there a reason you always have to call in? Can't you just click the link? You'll get better sound quality.
I didn't see the link in the chat. It was too quick, to stay on is kind of why I wanted to call.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, just, with the guy Nick dying, I thought of Nick Wright. And Nick Wright at one point he said 76ers versus Lakers. And,
well, since Nick Wright's out there watching right now, for people to know, Nick Wright used to always trash me on Twitter, like back in 2016, back when we were getting views. But yeah, he might end up being a nice LeBron ritual one day. He's been on his knees for LeBron for a long time. I might end up covering Nick Wright's obituary one of these days, but go ahead.
Yeah, but it's a span of 215 or 216 days from that Nick's birthday to this Nick's death. And it's just funny, right? That's the Cleveland area code, the 215 days. Or sorry, that's the Philadelphia area code, and then Cleveland for LeBron, the 216 is the span of days. So I just thought that was an interesting alignment from a guy who's been talking about Philadelphia and the Cleveland star LeBron, and then you have this guy with the same name as him dead on 5'6". You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Yeah. That's all I got. I would have hopped in the chat, but I didn't feel like I had enough to say.
Well, I appreciate that. I always appreciated Nick Wright observation. Yeah, that guy was a major heckler of the work back when we were finally reaching somebody.
Yeah, I saw his old tweets at you, and it's like, people were more on your side, even the people that never heard about it before, like the stuff he was, pulling from your work. So there's a reason why he doesn't do it anymore, I mean, the father-daughter day stuff is undeniable. LeBron played 41 minutes, 13 seconds that day. But yeah, that's all I had, Zach.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. See ya.
All right, take care. All right. Yeah, Nick Wright's on Fox Sports if you don't know who that is. But again, this was the highlighted game of the day in baseball, you guys, just to understand how you can use the knowledge to see things before they happen. Notice, Mets, you had to lay $205 to win 100 on the Mets today. They don't have value. Rockies got the numbers. Rockies are a good payout if you bet 100 on them. You'll win upwards of 200. But numbers that stood out, Sunday and 21. In Gematria, Sunday equals 21. Big number on Sundays. Rockies stayed on 21 losses on this Sunday. Mets fell to 7-8 at home. New York and Sunday equals 78 as well. And then Ryan Feltner, the Rockies pitcher, could get to 5-7 away against the 57 team on the 5-7 day. That's why you use this knowledge. You're smart with it. You don't bet more than you can afford to lose. You'll win a lot more often than not. And again, small bets with big payouts. If you can find 3 games like this in a day and only risk $5 on it, you can turn a $5 bill into $50. And you can do that day after day. Pick out a few strong games with value. You're not going to hit it every day because, maybe if there had been too much money on the Rockies, the Mets would have ended up winning. Sometimes a good narrative doesn't come through. But if you're smart with the knowledge, more often than not. The other year when the Mets won, the Mets player won the third baseman won the home run derby. We had that before the derby was on because it was all about 57. There were so many 57s lined up with that. And, there was even a historical tribute, but and I forget I forget how they did it, but they even mentioned something about like his cousin or his family member that was throwing him the pitches and put a big 57 on it. And I was just like, oh man, if only people knew what was right in front of their eyes. And that's what's sad, right? We're showing on this channel what's been right in front of our eyes all this time. It's all been there. It's just we haven't been putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And again, you guys, I teach this knowledge every month in a lot bigger way on Patreon for only $5. It's like going to school for $5 a month. I feel bad for the people who don't find it a good value. Maybe they're listening to my trolls and liars. Again, that's what's annoying. That dedicated loser, he'll put up a video about us missing 2 college picks in a day, but skip that we hit 6 NBA games going 6-0, including hitting on an 11.5-point underdog that had a very strong narrative, meaning it was a very lucrative day. And then he'll make a thumbnail with burning money and sound clip, just what works for him. It's like, we had a great day today. Really? You're trying to tell people not to sign up and it's a scam because you're the scammer? And speaking of the devil, he's in the chat. Thank you, Lispy. So, if anyone doesn't know who I'm talking about, the troll, he accidentally exposed his face. And he accidentally clicked on the wrong link. Poor guy. We got all of his information. And it's all justified, too. So, I don't know if it's the right rate. Maybe I'll just put out little pieces about where Lispy's from day by day. We'll build it up. We even got his kind of computer. So again, I told you there's people in this community that are on our side. Be careful what links you guys click on the internet because that's how scammers get you. You click a link and then it accesses your computer. And then next thing you know, a whole bunch of your public or private information is all of a sudden on their computer screen, all because you clicked on the wrong link. You got to be careful with that. That's why a lot of people spam links to get you to click on them as bait because they're also taking your data and information. So just heads up, words to the wise. Don't click on links you're not sure about. Poor Lispy made that mistake. All right, what's up, yo?
Yeah, I just wanted to add the fact that the 76ers game went into overtime, tied at 107. And if you look up overtime, it's a 3-cipher
overtime match. Equals 107. It went to overtime 107 all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 3-cipher match with shooting and the fact that
the year of the first overtime Super Bowl, that's where Brady came back from 25 points and beat the Falcons. It was all about 44 that year. At the beginning of the season, I said the Super Bowl would not the Super Bowl, but the NFC Championship would likely be Georgia versus Wisconsin, the 244 states with the Hank Aaron number 44 connection, who ended up dying in a big 44 ritual. But that year, the Falcons beat the Packers in the NFC Championship with 44 points. And then it ended up being the first overtime. And it was the first Super Bowl in a series of Super Bowls on 44-date numerology. But we had a big hunch that Super Bowl would go to overtime for the first time in history. And again, that's where Brady had the 25-point comeback on 2/5 over the Falcons. And then that was the year they moved the touchback to 25 yards. But yeah, again, that's why knowing these ciphers. So in basketball, it goes to overtime, 107, the first NFL overtime, huge 44 ritual. There's probably some of those other numbers, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's a 3-cipher match with shooting, going with the inviting them.
Oh, yeah, because they're talking about the shooting. You're right. They're talking about the shooting all game.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add that, and then I just wanted to say a lot of people want you to drop the link again so they could join.
Okay, I'll drop the link again.
All right, thanks, Zach.
All right, take care. All right, let me drop the link again. So the link is dropped, I think. All right, I dropped it 2 times. Okay. But yeah, you guys, I mean, scripted sports, predetermined outcomes, I mean, you could just see it. You can always see it if you're paying attention. You can just see the energy levels, the way teams aren't playing. A really great example of a scripted outcome was the Celtics game where they gave up the huge lead to the Falcons at the end. I mean, any basketball player could see it. Celtics were up about 13 points with 3.5 minutes left, and they just came down with no energy and just threw these lazy passes like 5 straight times down the court that got intercepted for fast break. Like in a minute and a half, the game went from a 13-point lead to tied. It's like, okay, so you really don't think they're trying to throw the game right now? I mean, they're literally throwing the ball away every time down the court to set up a fast break. They should just be dribbling, running down the clock, trying to get easy hoops at the bucket and draw fouls to keep patting on the lead with free throws, just basketball fundamentals, basketball IQ. And somebody tell me what's going on in this game, because I just opened up on I just opened it up on ESPN. Oh, it just updated again. They had the clock stopped on exactly 56 seconds while it was tied 112 all. Just reminds me of the old Jesuits that operate in 112 countries. But yeah, I mean, no matter what the outcome of this game is, you just saw from the beginning the way it was. You could see that the Celtics came out with no energy, no enthusiasm. We just talked about this. It's just like, I mean, you're a multi-million-dollar basketball team. I would expect everybody on this team's a killer and knows how to make sure the series is over for certain by just coming out and playing real hard from the get. Not coming out like, oh, we got a one-game cushion, so we're just going to chill. And again, well, it's just, yeah, I don't know how the fans watch this and don't just pick up on the obvious. You can't see the difference in the energy level from last game to this game. Some rumor will come out. Stephen A. Smith will be on, oh, I got the inside that on, Saturday night, they went out, partied so hard, strippers and all that. I mean, sometimes that's what they do. And it's like, bullshit, man. Like, you're a pro NBA team. You're paid. I remember back years ago when Kobe was in the league, they used to like advertise that in a half, Kobe made like $300,000 per half if you broke down his salary over the course of an entire year. It's like, think about that. God, $300,000 for 24 minutes of basketball if he plays every second. Woo! Like at the time, the average salary in the U.S. was probably like $40,000. Kobe's making 7 times that and a half. But are they really? Just here, if you guys are new here about the whole 5.9 slave thing, what they did with LeBron and Bronny valued at $5.9 million. Like how you value slaves at the auction. Remember they put that number on Kobe. Black Mamba 59. Braun passes him on the court with the black snakes the day before Kobe dies. That number was all over Michael Jordan. Remember last year, the ritual? We saw the Bulls would win those 4 straight home games to become 23-8 at home on the eve of Jordan's 59th birthday. Exactly what they did. Kobe born on 23/8. Michael Jordan 238. Michael Jordan also 113 like Kobe Bryant, like the National Basketball Association, like the big ritual they did with Kyrie Irving on November 3rd at the start of the year, making him the anti-Semite. All right, let me see if we got some more people in the chat. We don't. I think people are watching the game. So, yeah, maybe after the game ends, more people will check in here. Let's see what they got. So it's going down to the wire. OT, Celtics with a slight edge. And so here's the thing to think about. The Celtics are on 64 wins versus the 76ers in the playoffs right now. If they win today, they'll get their 65th win over the 76ers, exactly 65 days. Looks like the 76ers win. So this is the trick. Had they won today, they would have got the 65th win after Tatum's birthday. But James Harden, the shooter who's connected to the shooting, that's the storyline of the game, looks like he wins it with a 3-pointer. I got to see how many points Harden had. But okay, this is what made it tricky. And like I said, so if the Celtics do not get the 65th win today, 65 days after Tatum's birthday, the coach of the Celtics, the new coach, Mazzulla, the next game is 313 days after his birthday which is the 65th prime number. It's the 65th prime number. And the thing is, 307 days after that coach's birthday, which is the 63rd prime number, the Celtics got their 63rd win over the 76ers. So they synced up the prime number relationship and the distance from Mazzulla's birthday to that game for that win. So now it looks like they're going to do the same thing in the next game. Game 5 will go back to Boston. If Boston wins Game 5, they'll get their 65th win over Philadelphia 313 days after the coach's birthday. And again, where you get all this information, well, if you just know the names of the coaches, that's one way. But the coach of the Celtics is Joe Mazzulla. Today's 311 days after his birthday. That's the 64th prime number. The Celtics stayed on 64 wins versus the 76ers today. Okay? So, next game is 2 days from today, Tuesday, 313, the 65th prime. Now, if you're saying, how do you know prime numbers? Well, if you study them, you'll remember them automatically, just like tons of people in this community know. But number empire, if you're not sure, you could say, oh, it's 311. What's that? Number empire, type in 311. Is it prime? Yes, it's the 64th. Celtics. So check this out. Here's the updated stats. Celtics, all-time playoff record versus 76ers. Oh, snap. It's going to say that I have to pay for it. I need to just pay for the damn thing. The reason I don't want to pay for it is because they made this change on the Illuminati's birthday. And hold on, let me see if I can get it up on this window. On my other window, it works because I don't use the search as much over here. Hold up. I'm going to see if I can get this up for you guys so you can see this. I want you to see these stats. And then we'll bring on N201 in just a moment. All right, hold on. We got to share a different screen. See if I can get it. All right, there it is. All right, so this is the Celtics record versus the 76ers in the playoffs. They actually have not updated the latest loss yet. They just got their 49th loss. That'll reflect within a matter of minutes. Remember, they got the 48th loss on the Illuminati's birthday when Illuminati's 48th, the day the 76ers got their 247th playoff win on the Illuminati's 247th birthday. But they just did stay on 64. So that they're syncing up with the coach. Again, they got the 63rd win 307 days after his birthday, 307, 63rd prime. Then, today, 311 days after his birthday, 64th prime. They stay on 64. Next game. Here, let me pull up a basketball reference. Mazzulla again. Sounds like the place in Montana. So again, the next game's in 2 days, 313 days. And then on Number Empire, (313), 65th prime number. And these kind of patterns have gone on for years in the playoffs. For years, these kind of patterns have gone on in the playoffs. The year that the Raptors won it with Kawhi, they had so many distance from his birthday prime number riddles. It was crazy, the way they just kept doing it. So Joe Mazzulla, the new coach for the Celtics. Remember, the other coach went down in a scandal so they could get Joe Mazzulla in there, who the whole season just happens to be perfectly synced with. But again, that's why some games are trickier to call than others. It's like the Mets. It's just like why the Rockies with great value today with the 57 ritual. That's my kind of game. Big payout, big time consistent pattern. This one, you could say, well, they've been doing the prime numbers with the coach. Just write it today. If that was your intuition, you would have won today. On a buzzer beater, you would have had a heart attack winning it. And the concern was, though, just that it was Jason Tatum 65 days after Tatum's birthday. And, yeah, that would have changed the pattern a little bit because then it wouldn't be synced up with the coach. But you do got to consider that. He's the big star for the Celtics. And notice, 65 days after his birthday. So which way are they going? And part of the reason I think they do that, you guys, is in a series, it might also come down to where the money is. They might be like, look, we got to have the Celtics win one of the next 2 games. We can either do it with Tatum or the coach. Let's see where the money is on this game. Okay, get a good take here. Boston's probably going to be a considerable favorite in Game 5 at home in Boston. And, Vegas can always do their typical shenanigans. Spread's not covered, whatever way the money is. But, yeah, that's why some games are tougher to call because you see how the 65 lines up today with Tatum, lines up with the coach for the next game. So one of the two. And that's exactly the conclusion I gave my readers today. Said you might want to wait to see if there's the halftime score trick because you can make a good argument for this 65 either way today. And the people who complain about that kind of information, it's like, what are you complaining about? Like, here's a winning strategy. You can wait today, take advantage in the next one. So, intelligence. Not everybody has it. Okay, let's see. Let's get N201 in here. What's up, N201?
Yo, there was 231 total points in that Celtics game.
21st triangular number, Sunday number. Joel Embiid, number 21 in biblical Philly.
Yeah, but get this. The Red Sox stay on 21 wins versus Philadelphia. And 313, the 313th day of the Red Sox pitcher's age. The 65th.
Oh, and they win 6-1, the Philadelphia number. So, yeah, in baseball today, you guys, Philly wins 6-1. Or I see why I can't do it. Here, let me get it up here. ESPN.com/MLB. Okay.
The Phillies got their 16th win of the season. 6-1, or you could say 1-6. And Boston Red Sox 53, the 16th prime.
Well, again, Philadelphia equals 61. The Celtics came into this series against Philadelphia with 61 wins on the season. The Blue Jays win 10-1 over the Pirates. Pirates 101. Funny.
A great game today. This is what I wanted to comment about. Was because Arizona's birthday is Valentine's Day.
Right.
And today, it looks like they're going to do it. Become 20-14, like 214.
Oh, similar to the state birthday, Valentine's Day, I see. Interesting.
Yeah, but here's the kicker that you can prove that it's not a coincidence. Because today is 82 days after the state's birthday, and they're playing the 82 team, Washington Nationals.
Okay. Good one.
Yeah, and right now the Nationals have 3 runs on 9 hits, Arizona 39. Yesterday, in the most simple cipher, walk-off walk equals 121. And yesterday, the Nationals pitcher gave up a walk-off walk 121 days from his birthday.
Yeah, very good.
Man, they got it so down pat. And yeah, they definitely do double code the games. It's the people that are like, you should be 100% if it's like if this is really what they're doing, you shouldn't miss a game. That's false. If you actually day after day look at what they're doing in these games, it's undeniable.
Yeah, that's just an ignorant person's opinion who has no idea what they're talking about. I mean, that's all that is.
Exactly. 100%.
I just explained why it can be difficult in a series with how they structured the 65 in today's Celtics 76ers game. But then it makes sense. See, that's where watching the game, though, just picking up on the James Harden shooting narrative, seeing how much they're scripting, that's where you get the real-time idea that, and that's why I was saying Boston just came out so flat, like they weren't trying to win the game, and then they end up losing at the buzzer. And Stephen A. tomorrow will be all mad talking about the lack of hustle and how they could have easily won and put the series away at 3-1. And people tune in to watch that each morning. And it's like, okay, so what? You really think it's like they're giving Stephen A. Smith a reason to rant. Why not? Why does this happen in sports? Why don't these guys just come out and play hard instead of come out and play half-ass basketball for the first quarter? I mean, it's just so obvious. That's what drives me nuts. I noticed this stuff when I was a child, you guys, way before I knew Gematria. When I was a child, just watching the Blazers have to go up against Jordan. It was just, they played different. They didn't play like the same team. Jordan gets every call. You could just see it's like, how come nobody's playing like how they play on other nights where we kick everybody else's ass? So obvious. And then I was just totally done with sports when the Blazers lost to the Lakers in Game 7 after being up 20 to start the quarter. It was just the most obvious bullshit game there ever was. So, anyway.
No doubt. Another good one today was the Orioles becoming 15-15 all-time against Atlanta in Atlanta.
Oh, that's a good point. 15-15, the old Atlanta number. And just on the 15-date numerology, we had the Atlanta mass shooting, the Jamie Foxx update, the drug approval connected to the CDC that's down there.
Yeah, and the Braves, they went 15 batters without getting on base, and they flashed that on the screen when they hit 15. They flashed it on the screen that 15 batters since they've had one on base.
Okay.
It's complete mockery.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's those are the points that I have that I can remember right now. Oh, in regards to when you were talking about like the Blazers losing that 20-point lead, like before I knew Gematria, back in like I was watching the Panthers game, and like Cam had this wide open touchdown pass. Like he could have just easily, you could have made the pass. Anybody could have simply made the pass. And he just throws it right in the dirt. This was like his second year too, when like the hopes were still super high with him, and he just throws the ball right in the dirt. It was against the Seahawks actually, and
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about now.
He's rolling out to his right. He has a wide open player in the end zone. He just throws it in the dirt, and at that point, I'm just kind of like, could it possibly, like, could he have done that on purpose? But he always talks about so much about how he only cares about winning. Why would he do that on purpose? But, yeah, it's years later you find out Huey P. Newton and this and that, just completely undeniable.
James Harden dropped 42 points tonight, man. Come on.
42?
42 with the game winner. When he's the whole storyline with the mass shooting at Michigan State. So 4 for 4 at the free throw line, scoring the 44th points of the game. And that's an unusual game for Harden. Normally he's at the line 10 times. That, for people to know, that James Harden is always at the free throw line. So for him to only go 4 times, that's really low for him. But 4 for 4 on the day of the shooting story, where shooting and Asian are 44. And he gave him those 44th points to conclude the first quarter. Wasn't it? Or wait. Or no, it was just before they went to the break, but it was 44-33. And then they went right to the Asian shooting victim from supposedly the Michigan State on the 44th day of the year. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Just another day in number fucking land. That's what I feel like I live in. Like,
you know what I hate is just that there's people in the world who will say this stuff is stupid and schizophrenic, but then they'll never come on here and debate. How come we can't get that person to come on and debate?
Yeah, it would be nice to, because they don't really have a debate. They just like drinking beer and like watching games with their friends, and like it's a party atmosphere. It's like you're poking holes in like their party life. Like, I don't know, man. It's fucked up.
Yeah, they don't want their that's right. They don't want their party life messed with. They like their nice, easy mindset.
What else is ridiculous is Game 2 of the Lakers Warrior series. It's like, how come LA just wouldn't come out and destroy them again? Like, why could LA just do nothing against Golden State Game 2?
Exactly. And just the NBA's tired antics of a team blown out one team by 20. Then the next game, the team that just got blown out comes back and wins by 20. In this case, it was like closer to 30 in both games. Again, it's just, this is all the stuff that just shows you it's a big gambling trap. That's all it is. These guys are out there following orders, doing what they're told to do. Stephen A. Smith's giving you the stories to entertain you. For all, like, he's the therapy for the Lakers fan who doesn't understand why Anthony Davis didn't show up in Game 2. It's a joke.
It is. But I'm gonna get off of here, man. But thanks for having me on, and keep up the great work. So, peace.
All right, man. Have a good one. All right, next in line. Oh, hold on, yo. I'm coming back to you. This was actually next in line. Sephi Playboy X.
Hey, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, I just want to make you guys aware of another LeBron 20156 connection. You know he's an investor in Fenway Sports Group, right?
Yeah, he joined Boston, the Boston baseball team by the numbers. I got an old post on that.
Yeah,
Here,
but
let me pull it
Fenway
up while you talk
Sports
about
Group,
it.
Fenway Sports Group equals 201.
Here, okay, if you guys are watching the game today, go back and watch Jaylen Brown, number 7, put in the 7th points on a three-pointer for Boston. LeBron bought the Boston Red Sox ownership 77 days from his birthday. Big number there in Boston. And here, it was March 16th, 2021. It was during LeBron's 18th season, big baseball number, but 77 days from LeBron's birthday. Boston and Red Sox 77. Jaylen Brown today, number 7, puts in the 7th points. Go ahead. I just wanted to bring this back up.
Oh yeah, Fenway Sports Group equals 201, and they also own Liverpool FC, and Liverpool FC equals 56.
Fenway Sports Group, huh? Good one.
Yeah, but I just want. So you just talked about the Lakers Warriors. It's so like just compare the size of LeBron and AD to Curry and Klay Thompson. The Lakers would just run all over them if it was
Sure, because they're just a bigger team. Exactly. I mean, that's LeBron and Steph Curry are a biblical story, right? It's like David Goliath. So
Yeah. But anyway,
Fenway
that's
Sports Group, 201 and 258 like Order of Illuminati, 84 and 87 like the Catholic Church, 201 like the Jesuit Order, 84 like Jesuit. Yeah, good one.
Yeah, that's yeah, I just want to put that out there. Yeah, that's all I had to say. Thank you.
All right, man. Appreciate it. All right, I'm on the wrong screen. All right, let's bring Yo back on. I'll switch screens.
Yeah. So I know this is my 3rd time in, but still about the 76ers game. They had to finish off the ritual by James Harden giving his shoes to the victim. And we know about shooting and the shoes.
Shoes and shootings. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Shoes and mass shooting equal the same thing.
And then the color of the shoes, if anyone's watching, was like a glossy red to go for blood, you know?
You know what this reminds me of, too, with him being Asian? Remember how this year began with all the Asian shootings in Southern California during the Lunar New Year, and it was right after the police chief was sworn in, Robert Luna?
Yeah.
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 And it also reminds me of the Asian spa shootings just before an Asian won the Masters in Georgia for the first time ever, because LeBron had that big win this year on his birthday in Georgia, and the Jamie Foxx thing. There's a bigger story going on here.
But if you looked at the face of the victim, like when he was receiving the shoes, I mean, he didn't look happy at all. So I don't know. I mean, he knows he's part of something, and he's just there following what they tell him to do, you know?
He's just following orders.
Yep. But yeah, thanks, Zach.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Oh, Seth. What's up, Seth? Jerry Cruz is next, then D26, then Kobe Bean. Seth's up.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My first time calling in. Been following you probably now for maybe about a year. Appreciate all the work you do. I just want to say real quick that if LeBron wins the finals this year, he'll have 26 all-time NBA Finals wins. So that's all I want to say real quick.
Hey, that's a good one. And his next NBA Finals game is also his 56th game.
Right. He's 22 and 33 right now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next.
I want to say, and I'm also in Chicago area, so if you come down Meta Center, yeah, I'll definitely come out.
The Meta Center. What was it called before the Meta Center?
Honestly, I got no clue, but
okay, Meta Center. Big tech taking over.
But yeah, whenever you come out there, I'm definitely gonna come out.
All right.
I'm still new to this, but yeah, appreciate it. That's all I wanted to say real quick.
All right, thanks, Seth. Appreciate it. Jerry Cruz.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, what up, Zach? You already know who it is. But one thing I kind of like to tell people a lot, like that people don't understand is when you kind of say like, when you tell people it's rigged, like, or it's bullshit, or whatever, they usually boil it down to just the referees and bullshit calls.
Everybody who does that is either doesn't know how to play these games or is not intelligent enough or is not paying attention. I mean, I felt like the Celtics were going to lose today's game just from watching the opening moments, just playing with no energy. Just think, why come out like? I mean, sometimes then they have the team come alive in the second half, but so often when they come out so flat like that, it's like they've seen the script. They know they're just supposed to play behind the 76ers all game. It looks like an obvious script if you're just paying attention.
Exactly. I had a friend that I never brought up Gematria to like the other week tell me, she was like, I always had a hard time watching NBA. She was a girl. She was like, I always had a hard time watching the WNBA because it doesn't look real. It just doesn't look real, which is my point, is like if it's not technology, it's some type of magic. You did like one stream on that, but I really think you should like put a lot of emphasis on that. That it's something else. Like how in the quote in like Kobe's last game, at the end of the game, there were like 5 straight 24-foot 3-pointers. There's like always these certain key spots that players get to. There's these certain things that they say in interviews, these certain things that they do on courts. Like you just talked about with James Harden giving dude the shoes. It's like this stuff is like really
Look at
ritualistic
Curry
and
last night. Curry just shooting up bricks all night. And it's like, okay, is he the greatest shooter ever? Because like he's just shooting he's building a Masonic temple out there tonight with all these bricks. So
exactly my point. And then like you talk about how one thing that always was noticeable to me is just how just inconsistent the games are.
and
Like with
the refs. That, as somebody who also used to play and officiate, you have to be so consistent as an official to become a varsity ref in high school. There's a lot of competition to be a varsity ref. Not many guys make it. You have to be super consistent. You're being evaluated so much. And again, you watch these pro refs, it's like, who's their boss? Like, how is this the call tonight? How come last night it was this and now today it's this? And it's just the whole thing is a joke. The other day, the announcers were like, wow, Curry just got away with a walk. It's like, why are there even refs out there? I mean, that was like the worst travel ever that was not a call. It's a joke, man.
Exactly, it is. And if you ask me, the whole refs making bullshit calls isn't their way of getting their outcome. It's their way of also tugging on people's heartstrings. Because think about how many people are like, fuck, man, fuck this ref. Like, this ref did they take that shit like that personal. Especially like you talking about how they fill the games with drinks and bait with cops outside, just getting money from people getting arrested, doing dumb shit, breaking windows. Just it's just like everything else in America, a big money grab. And yeah, I just want want people to realize this shit is it is deeper than just bullshit calls, because a lot of newcomers really think that it's just referees and
that's what makes me sad. That's just like, that's why you guys, for people who have not gained their confidence to go speak out in public, I've been living with the public and understanding like how either shut down or how dumb these people are. I don't worry about what other people think about me, because I don't care what society's opinion is. This is the same society that couldn't see through the obvious lies in 9/11, still wearing their slave muzzles outside, don't see how they got took by Amazon, big corporations, why mom and pop had to shut down. The same people that are watching these bullshit-ass sports games that couldn't be any more obvious since the era of 9/11, the Patriot Act, and then the Patriots and Tom Brady and every new rule form each year. It's like, I don't care about these people's opinions because they are fucking brain dead or under some kind of magical spell that I'm not. So I'm not worried about what they think. I'm just trying to break the spell or help them elevate their IQ, because it's a joke. I'm so sick of people saying the same things. Like, it could only be what do you mean? You mean the players are in on it? It's just like, yeah, isn't it odd? How could you keep the secret? Okay, secret societies. How much are these guys paid again? Here, let's look up James Harden's contract real quick. And you know what else? Just about James Harden having his big game today. In the beginning of the game, there was like no defense on him at all. Just easy making it to the paint, little jumpers, no pressure. It's like, okay, is Boston playing the game plan of let's make James Harden look fucking awesome and play to all of his strengths today? Maybe blow the whistle and switch up the game plan here, because James Harden's just taking you apart and nobody's guarding him. But again, I mean, we know it's because it's a script, and they're mocking you. They're showing you, how it's all about him and this kid who's at the game. Why is the Michigan State fan at the game on 5-7? How about go watch my video from the Michigan State shooting and what I said about 57? Now here we are on 5-7.
Michigan State,
and 57. Michigan State equals 57. Oh, I wonder why the Michigan State victim's there. And
Yeah.
that same cipher, shooting 44, as Harden goes 4 for 4 at the free throw line when he normally has 10 attempts and knocks in the 44th points of the game. So that then right as commercial break, they can talk about the shooting again. I mean, it's it's not like I have been here for a decade talking about shooting and sports and, the Pulse nightclub shooting and how that was synced up with LeBron. You know what? At the beginning of the game, I only saw the very beginning of this game, and I turned it on for a second for the 44th points. I saw hardly any of this game, but I did catch a commercial break. And something I actually noticed that I'd never seen before is the NBA they've partnered now with some kind of shooting advocacy group that's connected to the Pulse nightclub shooting. Did you see this ad?
Yep.
What's the name of the organization again?
I don't know. I don't remember. I know what you're talking
But
about.
I saw it during the commercial. I saw
Yeah.
it during the commercial.
This shit,
So
yeah, this shit is fucking. This shit is definitely sick, bro. Like, I just want people to understand, like, shit like this, bro. John Morant and his dad are born 97 days apart. Memphis
Memphis
Grizzlies,
Grizzlies
97.
97.
It's this bullshit. It's
Born
just the
for it.
yeah, born for it. These are like, and that's another bad thing about you pulling on the heartstrings. You got these people as kids looking at these idolizing Steph Curry.
So for people who don't know this voice right here, this is a young person, and you guys would think this guy's been in the community for like 10 years listening to him, and he calls into our sports streams. He's got decodes, and he finds things I don't, but he's only been here for a matter of months, so he makes me happy. I'm like, see, good thing I kept on doing it, because this young mind found it, and he's really good with it. You know, someday when I'm dead and gone, he'll be here carrying on the legacy of Gematria, but he's a young person that's already connecting all the dots, and he's only been around for so long. Again, for people who take the knowledge seriously, you can go a long way with this. And again, for people who aren't in the sports group, I mean, the good thing about the sports group is there's good people in the community and callers like this. This young guy will blow your mind with the things he finds, and he's just getting started. But anyway, go ahead.
Indeed, and I really appreciate that. And there's like it's just always it's just a one-way conversation about how this stuff is just it really is a big game that they're playing, and like you said, we are not a part of it. And especially when it comes to, like I said, these kids growing up idolizing these people, and these people are they don't even have their own soul, damn near. I wouldn't be I would not be surprised if it all came down to it, we found out these motherfuckers are not, they're not even their own conscious. Like, shit like this is really obviously, and I mean, when you're really intelligent, like you talk about, this is obviously what's going on. This isn't what something you have to break down and explain. This is obviously, I would have knew. Even if you hadn't told me these people's birthdays, I would have been like, it really sounds like they're fucking born for this. Like, I mean, and just like Joel Embiid, he's just random Cameroonian 7 foot fucking 9 big ass basketball
Right. And
star.
so many of them don't know their dads. It's like, how many of these guys cannot know their dad when they're 7 feet tall? There's only so many people in the world that have the genetics to be 7 feet tall. That's why you guys, they're putting the slave numbers on these athletes, because they're literally breeding them like stock horses. And I've made that point for so long, that these athletes like LeBron James are like $1 million stallion in the Kentucky Derby. And think about it, you guys, the ritual with him, the king, the Derby, his son being valued at $5.9 million and going to Los Angeles where his dad is. His dad drops 59 and at halftime, the slave number. And again, King Charles and the Civil War and the American Civil War and slavery and all these things coming together.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, at this point, it's like, how can you be denying what we're teaching when it just proves itself every day in spades?
Every single day, every single day. And I mean, you just talk about what they do with these players' contracts. Even their contracts and shit are part of the ritual. Like LeBron signing for 153 mil on 1/7, 153 to 17 triangular number.
And
Final
then
start
later, though, that's
153
true.
days.
But then later they change it to 154 million because King James is 154. Just showing it's like, okay, so was the contract just 153 for the 17 ritual, and then a few days later it's 154 for King James?
And now 153 days after his birthday, the 2023 finals begin, which he's likely gonna be in. And there's so much 56 stuff. The person who crowned the king was born in 56. It's just so much 56. I've seen in interviews countless times with LeBron. They highlight a quote that he says and it equals 56. They even showed up a big highlight and made a big fuss about him telling a player hell no on the court. It was a big hell no. Hell no, 66. LeBron 66. A bunch more shit
Lakers,
like that.
LeBron James, Charles.
It is just yeah, it is. And I mean, just remember how I told you, I kept telling you about how they've been doing so much 125 and 251 stuff since he passed Kobe on 25/1. I just now thought about it, him being synced up with the royal family, because the queen died on the 251st day of the year, and that day leaves 114 days remaining. LeBron James 114. And now he's connected to the royal family, and it's big. And look at how many days it is from the king getting coronated from the queen's death. It's a total span of 251.
And she died on the 251st day of the year, the 54th prime. Okay.
Exactly. And now he's facing Steph Curry, which is 54 forwards and backwards. And Kobe Bean Bryant is 54, which we know who he died for, LeBron.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I mean, we've been talking about 56 so much in this just huge mega 56 ritual yesterday, and then the deaths and just everything. It's just like, Come on, people. I mean, did you not just see us down in LA, from Sacramento down to LA, teaching about 56 and what's going on, and then everything they did yesterday?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say, man. Appreciate you for coming on. You know I'll be back in the stream, bro.
all right, keep it up, Jerry Cruz.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
yeah. And here's another great young mind. What's up, D26?
Hello, everyone. Uh, Good to be back after a long time. It's been a long time. I don't know when last we talked about it, but I've been trying to get a call on you about conversation about bunch of fines, but I won't take this call any longer. If you don't mind, I don't have anything about U.S. sports, obviously. So this is one thing came across when I was doing something which is about space. So if I'm not wrong, isn't 23rd of August the Kobe Bryant's birthday?
August 23rd is Kobe Bryant's birthday.
So if you can help me over here, because I was doing some research about the moon and the lunar missions, I found this interesting thing that on 23rd of August, the first photograph of the Earth from the orbit around the moon was taken from the first orbiter, the lunar orbiter 1. So does the moon has anything to do with Kobe Bryant or something like that? But I can
Well, he
add
died
that
on
into
a
my details.
Sunday, right? He died on a Sunday, the day that we get named after the sun.
26th of January, which also happens to be India's Republic Day, which is 201 days before India's Independence Day, which is on Jesuit birthday. 26th of January, by the way.
Okay.
So that was one thing that I found about Kobe Bryant, and I also mentioned about in the previous stream that the actor in the series Angel Has Fallen, um, Gerard Butler, from his birthday to Kobe Bryant's birthday, you can say it was a span of 83 days. And we know that the 83 is a number related to death, murder, and everything.
Helicopter
Murder by
crash
number.
equals 83, and the Pope was
Oh, I know
83
that.
when Kobe died. And again, he died on the 41st day of the Pope's age at age 41 while traveling from Catholic Mass.
Hmm. And what was the cartoon which predicted the helicopter crash?
So, okay, again, just throw out the numbers with Kobe. His last game in the NBA, they give out
Uh-huh.
the toy Kobe Bryant helicopter at the game for the people who
Okay.
came. And then in November, his last game was April 13th, 2016. In November of 2016, he puts out the Kobe Bryant After Death shoe, and Comedy Central puts out the Kobe Bryant death cartoon where he dies in a helicopter in Chamberlain Heights, named after Wilt Chamberlain, who's another basketball player. And that came out on November 16th, or 1611. 1611 is the year the King James Bible was written, and LeBron playing for the Lakers, like Kobe's team. Again, they call him King James, and
Mm-hmm.
Kobe's from Philly, the biblically named town, and LeBron passed Kobe Bryant in points scored in Philadelphia, Kobe's hometown, the day before Kobe died, and that court has black snakes on the artwork of it, just like Kobe was named after a black snake, the Black Mamba, and was said to be involved in a pharmaceutical battle, and then got buried in Corona del Mar at the time of coronavirus. And if you look at what Black Mamba venom does, it stops people's hearts. And I can't say too much more about that because everything's medical misinformation, but that is about Black Mamba venom in human hearts.
That's great. So, and because this is interesting, because in India, Indian the captain of the Indian cricket team recently, because I don't follow cricket a lot, but recently I noticed since COVID, or I would say a year before the COVID, they have been calling the captain as King Kohli. So they've added this word before that, King Kohli, and before that, I only heard about this as King James for LeBron James. So I feel that this thing about gematria being present in, I would say, in most pro sports. I just want to seek your advice. What are the things that I should be looking when it comes to sports decode separately? So when I'm
So
decoding about
sometimes
history,
it can be really simple, D26. It's just like the other day in the NBA playoffs. The date was 5-2 as we write it over here, and all three teams that could become 5-2 in the playoffs did. The next day,
Mhm.
one team could become 5-3 on 5-3. They did. Golden State, their star player Steph Curry equals 54 on 5-4. They became 5-4 in the playoffs. It can be that simple. But what we always look at is just like LeBron yesterday, mega 56 ritual, becoming 5-6 versus Steph Curry at home in the playoffs on 5-6 on the day of the coronation. So you're always trying to connect news and sports when you can, because so often the news is scripted with the sports, just like we're talking about James Harden scoring the 44th point today and winning the game on the winning shot as he pays tribute to the shooting victim from Michigan State on the 44th day of the year. So if anytime you can get a connection with a news and a sports story, that's always a really good sign. But again, you're looking at the team records, the history of the teams, the date they're playing on, a star player, the coach, sometimes the owner, but usually the date, the numbers of the date, and where that fits in the best way with the game that day and the parent. It's just like today in baseball. My favorite game in baseball today was a big payout game in one of the biggest potential upsets of the day. So you have value there, but there's a very consistent pattern with the New York Mets. Again, Mets equals 57. And New York Mets equals 57. And today we write the date in the U.S. 5-7. Today, the Colorado Rockies were big underdogs versus the Mets. And the pitcher for the Rockies became 5-7 away for his career, or he had that narrative before the game and his team went on to win. But that was the big hunch that the Rockies could upset the Mets today. So that's kind of how we go about it.
Yeah, because I'm making notes about what you just said the last 2 minutes. Because so is it necessary? Because I feel it is necessary to learn the game. For me, it would be easy to learn baseball because I mean learn as in just to know the rules of it, how do you score and all that stuff. It would be easy for me to learn baseball, but I feel baseball does not have that much viewership as does NBA, and I guess most of your decos are also in basketball, if I'm not correct, if I'm not
Well,
wrong.
it's baseball season now. It was mostly basketball during
Okay,
basketball season, but now everything's mostly baseball. I mean, there's only a few basketball
okay.
games. Yeah, so.
So, and it also baseball is kind of familiar to cricket. It's an offshoot of cricket, by the way.
It
Those who
came from
didn't find the
cricket.
chat.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
it came from cricket.
talked about in my first book. The first professional American sports league, a lot of people don't know this, but the first professional American sports league doesn't exist anymore. It was cricket. The first ever
That's what I
professional
said.
American sport was cricket.
That's what I said. That baseball was an offshoot kind of thing from cricket
Not
because
kind
cricket
of, it was.
originated.
Not kind of.
Uh,
It was. It was an offshoot of baseball comes from cricket.
does US recognize that? Because by the way, just in case you didn't know, US is investing a lot in creating their own cricket league after looking at the statistics of the Indian Premier League that skyrocketed after the COVID-19 pandemic. And I would say in just a very small span of time, the Indian Premier League became the second largest or second richest sports league in per match viewership, per match cost as well as viewership. So now US is going to come into cricket. So I feel what you're talking about. We have talked about a lot of sports on this channel. I guess you've covered base in your own country. You've covered baseball, uh,
Here, hold on,
basketball.
D26. Hey, hold on. I want to challenge this person in the chat, Cameron Davis, who says we're all out of our minds. I want you to challenging you to come on the stream and
Exactly.
explain why we're out of our minds. So I just dropped the link in the stream for Cameron Davis, who says we're all out of our minds. Again, Cameron Davis, I just want you to come on and tell me how it's a coincidence that on the same day that LeBron picks up the Lakers pick up their 26th win over the Warriors in the playoffs, his old owner on the Cavs, his son's dying at 26, right after the news of Lance Blanks dying, who was the 26th pick of the draft, who died 26 weeks after his NBA debut anniversary, who averaged 2.6 points in his last season, who ended his NBA career at 26, who's connected to Detroit, like the owner of the Cavs. I want you to come on and tell me how it's all a coincidence. And hold on, somebody did hop on real quick, D26, stand by, just in case this is actually Cameron Davis. I want him to come on and let us know. Is this Cameron Davis?
Oh, no. Sorry.
Okay. Well, here, since you came on, I'll give you the floor for a few minutes, and then I'll let D26 continue. But what's up? What brought you on today?
No, I actually agree with a lot of the things you said. I really just had a question. So I know you talk about like the LeBron passing Kobe and stepping over the black snake, James Harden hitting the three to win the game. Do you think like that when they script these things, that do you think the NBA like how do you think they go about that?
Okay, so let's go back to Monday. What have I been talking about that happened on Monday?
The shooting, right?
Monday, the 76ers got their 247th
Oh yeah.
playoff win on whose birthday?
I didn't hear that part.
Oh, okay. So that was Monday's news that we covered. That was a nice win we hit on Monday because remember, the 76ers were a 10-point dog against Boston, but we liked the 76ers to win that game a lot because it was the Illuminati's 247th birthday, established in 1776, as the 76ers get their 247th playoff win. So the Illuminati, as I always cover, were created by who?
You said what?
Who created the Illuminati?
I'm not sure.
Adam Weishaupt, who was a Jesuit. So again, I covered the same things in almost every video. Again, in the 16th century, the Catholic Church and the Jesuits served the Catholic Church and the Pope. They gave us the calendar, the language. They've been hell-bent on dominating the world. They know that the Roman Colosseum, entertainment, sports are the way to appease the masses and keep them participating in slavery. These are all concepts that go back to Rome, just like people are reading their Bibles with Romans and Ephesians 6:5-9 and being good slaves. Again, all of this system goes back centuries. We're living in this is the new Babylon. This is the new Rome. So this is a network. The Illuminati, the Jesuits are a real network that have been controlling the world with the same Kabbalistic tactics. They're scripting your news. They're scripting your sports. They're giving you your his story books.
I agree 100%. I agree with everything you said.
That's how they do it. That's how they do it. And think about how they reach us all. They can only do it at the level they do today because of the technology, right? Like 100 years ago, we didn't all have the same screen in our house. We didn't all have the same radio broadcasting. We're all hearing and seeing the exact same things, and it's all coming from a controlled source. So this is how a relatively smaller network of people can control the minds of the world.
So my question is though, so like today, you said Harden went 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Do you think like consciously he's thinking about that? Do you think the referees are like that's what I'm getting at? Like on the court, I know the.
I didn't watch all of today's game where there's some games where Harden didn't get calls and it seemed like maybe he should have got. I watched him knock down a three and he got barreled to the ground and the announcer actually said, "Man, that should have been an and one, no call."
So you think it's just more like a.
That's the script. They're going to have him go 4 for 4 at the free throw line and knock down the 44th points, what I've been calling the shooting number for a decade. I mean, I literally have a book out there, you guys. I literally have a book on a chapter of mass shootings explaining why 44 is the shooting number.
Okay.
And don't you get it? Like, again, it's just like I was saying. On the anniversary of Sandy Hook, we had, on that anniversary, we had Sandy Lindsay get the first person, or be the first American to get the COVID shot. So we got a school shooting, shots. We got the COVID vaccine with Sandy Lindsay on the anniversary, shots. COVID-19 anniversary, or excuse me, the Sandy Hook anniversary is also the date that Steph Curry set the 3-point shot record, passing Ray Allen. And Ray Allen went to UConn, Connecticut, where Sandy Hook was. Again, and now here's the NBA bringing another story together with the news and mass shootings. And go back and watch my work from 2016 if you can find it out there. The old blog posts are still up, but about the Pulse nightclub shooting and what was going on in the NBA playoffs that year. Go back and watch that work. Now the NBA today is advertising about some partnership with the victims of Pulse to get changes in America about gun. I mean, the NBA is literally getting behind the campaign to undermine the Second Amendment. The NBA is literally attacking American values, but you know what? This is how deep we are in the game because they've been working at this slowly. Most Americans are against guns because they watch TV and they've learned on TV that guns are bad, and they've learned on that same TV that watching the NBA is cool and awesome, and LeBron's a great guy, and basketball good, guns bad. Remember, the NBA is all synced up with coronavirus. The league's locked down on the same day that the pandemic's declared, and it's blamed on Rudy Gobert, the Frenchman, when the Jesuits are from France. And it's the Utah Jazz on 113, the only team in the NBA that equals 113 like coronavirus pandemic. And Kobe's buried in Corona Del Mar right before it in his last game against Utah? I mean, they do it because they're the Illuminati. They got all this knowledge. Okay, you have to imagine what it is to be Illuminati. People got to stop saying there's no such thing as the Illuminati. The Illuminati established May 1st, 1776. They're having big rituals every year on their birthday, including this year in the NBA. The Illuminati's Jesuit. The Jesuits are Catholic Church. They put out the show Da Vinci Code, the book and the shows and the movies. Da Vinci Code about the Illuminati and the Catholic Church. Dan Brown, who wrote those books, he just happened to turn 56 years old in 2020, the year of all the million 2020 coronavirus rituals, including, the Miami Heat going down to LeBron, King James in the finals in the NBA bubble. You guys didn't know that? NBA bubble 56, Miami Heat 56, coronavirus 56, COVID vaccine 56, and on and on and on. But Illuminati, think about what they are. They are the ruling class that control the world's militaries, government, mega corporations, big tech. They control who prints the money. You know what's sad? You know how the last year we've seen the ads all over TV? If you know somebody from the Camp Lejeune who's been infected and died from cancer, call in for this class action lawsuit. I know you guys have seen this ad if you've been watching TV. It's been everywhere the last year. The Camp Lejeune illness victims. This big military base that dumped all these toxins in the water and got everybody sick. So I didn't even realize this, but where my mom lives, my mom moved into a neighborhood in 1990, and she's lived in that neighborhood longer than everybody in the neighborhood except for one person, and he happens to live right across the street from her. His name's Dave. Great, nice guy. And Dave's been helping his wife fight a cancer battle for 25 years. She recently just died, and I was just down visiting my mom, and I got to talk to Dave, and Dave actually feels a little bit relieved about his wife dying. I mean, he misses her, of course, but she was fighting a nasty battle for 25 years. And he was explaining that she had 4 other siblings, so 5 total siblings. All 5 are dead from cancer, and she lived the longest. She fought the cancer the longest out of all of her siblings. She died in her late 50s. She came down with cancer in her mid-30s. But all of her siblings grew up on that military base in Camp Lejeune. They were military brats. Their father was in the military. All 5 of the children that lived there died from cancer. And anyway, I was talking to Dave, and he said, he's getting a lot of pressure from other people in his family to fight the legal battle and go for the lawsuit and join the class action lawsuit. But his attitude, what he said is, how can you beat this government? He said they kept this under wraps for over 20 some years or longer than that. They finally just admitted to it. And he said, think about it. All they do is tie you up in court and then give you the stress of court. And he said, we know how corrupt this government is. He's awake. He's like, they print the money. He's like, you can't beat them in court because they just keep printing the money. That's how they can keep a case that's ice cold that everybody knows is true, that they gave everybody cancer and killed all these people with illegal dumping. They can keep that under legal wraps for decades. Because again, that's what we're fighting, you guys, the people who built this system. I mean, just think about that. They did that in Iraq too. Remember what they were calling it Gulf War syndrome, but then it turned out that they were putting something in the water at some of these bases in Iraq at the start of the second Gulf War. I mean, all the people who sign up because they get taken in by the TV and the commercials and be all you can be, and then they end up in Iraq and Afghanistan realizing they're doing crazy stuff, raiding innocent people's homes, killing innocent people. They end up going crazy, raping people. They end up back in the States, hooked on fentanyl, homeless on the streets on Percocet 30s, the story all over America that's been going on for decades since Vietnam. But yeah, this is what we're aimed against. An Illuminati that controls everything that controls us. But it only controls us because we allow it to control us. The day humanity says, you know what? I'm not appeased by your basketball game. You know what? I'm not going to send in your tax payment. You know what? I'm not going to do this or that. If everybody just said, you know what? We're not doing license plates and tabs and social security numbers so the government can track us for every inch of our life by a number. The day we're not doing that anymore, that's the day the government would collapse. We're not going to participate in your rigged elections anymore. We're not going to fill up your stadium for the rigged-ass game in tribute to whoever just got sacrificed this week. There's an Illuminati. They're using everything to keep everybody on the same old path. Money, status, image, advertisements. I mean, you guys, just the advertisements. How many political ad things do they sneak in a sports game now? We need to stop bullying transgender people. We need to take a hard look at gun ownership rights. How many more people need to die? I mean, these are the things you're watching during the game. You better be on board with transgenderism. You better be behind that. The NBA pulled the All-Star game from Charlotte for not going with the tranny agenda. And then they let both the Carolinas win the March Madness right after, including the Lady Cocks down at South Carolina, who've eclipsed UConn. Tennessee is the new women's team in the age of the tranny. The Lady Cocks. People don't even get the jokes. And we're paying all this money to go to their schools. School has the same gematria as Jesuit order, where we learn everything in school. How to be a good American and pledge to the stripes. Again, I appreciate the last caller calling and asking the questions, but it's like, wait a minute, do you watch my videos, or is this it might have been the first video he's ever watched, so he just hopped on, but it's like, I answered the same questions and everything, you guys. The Illuminati's the Jesuit order. They gave us the calendar, the language. They gave us the idea of Roman rulership, how to control the slaves with entertainment, alcohol, things to get you by, prostitutes, all the stuff that keeps people going. Strippers, the strip club. I mean, where's the manpower? Okay, seriously, where's the manpower of America at right now at this moment that could overthrow the Illuminati in this country? Here, I need everyone that's of able body and age right now, all the manpower to overthrow the Illuminati today, because we see what's up. They're playing video games right now. Entertainment. They're jerking off right now. They're waiting for the next basketball game to start right now. They're doing their fantasy basketball roster right now. They're drinking right now. They're smoking right now. I'm not saying all stuff's bad. I mean, all things in moderation, I suppose. But again, the manpower is pacified, entertained, and looking into everything but what's really going on in the world. So that's why we're here every day, to undo it. All right, what's up, Benjamin? Actually, hold on, Benjamin. I'm going to come back to Benjamin. My bad, D26. I got D26 on idle standing by. D26, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I just want to ask, do you mind if I go a little, quite a bit off track, but I got some interesting finds. I won't be sharing all of these, but also let me know when is the best time to call you, because I did call you a couple of times,
Because
probably
anytime
last
you
one.
can call into one of these shows, I mean, that's why I try to do the call-in shows several times a week. So anytime you catch me.
Okay. So, so you don't mind me going a little bit off topic, because I guess this was mostly sports centric
Well,
stream.
could you call in Wednesday about another topic? I mean, I'm trying to keep it within the realm of where we're at.
Okay, no problem. So I would probably try to call you now on Wednesday.
Okay.
That is TFR, right?
Yeah. TFR. I'll give you as
Probably.
long as you want on TFR.
Maybe I'll try, because I will be having my classes the next day, because it's Thursday, and it's also, yeah, there might be a time difference, but I will try. Most likely I won't be able to make it, but I'll try.
All right. Well, D26 also, if I am just super busy all the time, but I would like to also just come on and just do another stream just to highlight your work and get more people on your channel. So reach out to me, and
that's a very kind gesture to you, and also, even to be honest, even I'm busy. I have just to do. I have exams probably next week, from
Okay,
next
when you're all
Monday.
done with all your exams, we'll connect and we'll do a stream together. So you take care of your
Sure,
exams. We'll do it.
hopefully.
All
Yeah,
right.
and yeah, good luck to you, and thanks for having me here.
All right. Appreciate it, D26. Thank you.
You too.
Okay. All right. What's up, Benjamin?
What's going on, Zach? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
First of all, I want to just really quickly shout out D26. I found out about him through you, and I've been following his channel ever since. It's clear all the research and work that he puts into his videos, so I definitely second you. Everyone should check him out. But
here's his channel, you guys.
If
people want to check him out, D26, no space, D26, then a space, then creates. He's got some really nice, concise videos. You're trying to wake somebody up about 9/11. I really like, he took a lot of the best 9/11 research in the community and put it into one really well done video. Everything he's done has been great. He doesn't have a lot of videos, but good videos to wake people up with. Yes, he does have an Indian accent, but please don't say, like, I can't understand. His accent is very clear. He's very understandable. Turn on the captions if you need to, but he does great work. Okay.
And shout out to you as well. This is the first time I've called in, so I just want to thank you personally for the amount of sweat equity and blood, sweat, and tears and shoe leather and miles on your car and everything that you put into this. You're a serious inspiration for me and someone that I look up to, and I really want you to hear that just straight out of the horse's mouth, so to speak. But to get back on topic, something that I highly check out, highly recommend everyone should check out on YouTube is this video that David Blaine did not too long ago where he talked about how are people able to hit these half-court shots during these NBA games? Is it magic or is it magnets?
That's the NBA advertising campaign from about 15 years ago. I mean, we brought that up every year that I've been here. I mean, I was talking to my buddies about that. That was out before I even knew Gematria, and I'd say to my friend, I'm like, yeah, again,
right.
The Harlem
the moment I saw that is what woke me up. And obviously, I found it through you. But to anyone who hasn't seen that yet, go wake yourself up. Do yourself a favor. Because the moment I saw that video, I said, holy shit. This is one amongst many of the things that is going on. And the rigging with the games in line with Gematria and doing the rituals and everything in line with what the Jesuits are doing. Not only are they controlling the players, they're controlling the ball. They're doing this in football. They're doing this in basketball. They are using RFID technology and all.
Yes. And I want to remind people, if you actually go back and look, David Blaine did several of the Magnet Magic spots for different NBA teams, but there was one commercial that got played way, way more than any other team. And I mean by a huge margin. Like it made up 90% of the ads that they played for the Magic or Magnets. And it was Baron Davis, the star of the Warriors then. That was around the time Steph Curry was in college. And what do you know? Steph Curry ends up on the Warriors and just the greatest shooter of all time shortly after this commercial.
Yes, sir.
Here,
yes,
I'm going to play the
commercial.
for everybody who's never seen this ad. Let me change the audio setting real quick.
Yes,
and,
please. Let's do it.
Yeah, for people, I bring this up all the time. All the time. Okay. Check out this ad. This is about 15 years ago, Baron Davis Warriors days. Here it is. Something else I got to point out about that, he's in Philadelphia. That's the 76ers court. The Warriors are originally from Philadelphia. Philadelphia Warriors won the first championship. The big Illuminati ritual with the 76ers this year on the Illuminati's birthday. But yeah, again, this commercial is right before Steph Curry got in the league. Unbelievable. Clowning. That's what they do every day. That's what the Illuminati does because they know they're just playing with children when they're talking about these common folk. All right, what's up, Benjamin?
Well, once you realize that the sports are scripted and that the players definitely have to be in on it because of how the contracts go into the rituals and the amount of points.
Hold on. It's saying that everybody's saying they could not hear the audio. I forgot. They created this new setting. I'm going to replay the ad without the setting on that blocks out the sound. One more time. Here's the ad. Here's the ad.
No problem. Baron Davis can make a shot from anywhere on the court. Is it magic or is it magnets? Tiny magnets placed on the ball, ensuring a strong attraction to the metal rim. Watch. And when Baron needs more magnets, Baron gets more magnets. Don't believe me? Watch the NBA playoffs and you'll see there's really no other explanation.
And again, notice it's a 33-second spot, too, about magic or magnets. Again, big number with magic, 33. All right, let me put the audio setting back so it's not echoing, but that should have made it so everybody could hear the ad. And all right, you're back on, Ben.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate you playing that so we could have some context. That way I'm not just flapping my gums out of thin air here, and we've got a framework that we can all reference. Once I woke up to that, and I'm sure there's other people that have gone through this process or are going through it or will go through it that are listening to this or watching this. Once you wake up to the fact that they're scripting that and they're doing that, and you see the way Zach breaks it down, it is irrefutable and it is deep, the levels to which they're doing the rituals. Birthdays, prime numbers, triangular numbers, death days, days where players are getting drafted, days where they're doing their contracts. I mean, the amount of data, and you do it every day. So people that are refuting this, I agree with everyone that says they just haven't put the skin in the game to look into it. Because anyone that looks into this that has a working, critical thinking brain will see it. And once you see that level of detail, you start waking up to the, okay, then what's the next level? What else did I not see? Right? And then you start talking about the government. You start talking about all of these public figures. You start talking about these celebrities. And very quickly, it's easy to build a web in my mind of all these puppets, essentially, that for my whole life I thought were real characters out here in the world, real people. But guess what? They might as well be NPCs, like people you meet in a video game. We had a caller earlier who said, is their consciousness being manipulated? Are they empty shells? Are they just part of the I mean, yes, we're extrapolating and going into some deeper territory here, maybe some land where I might lose some folks. But you have to start asking yourself these questions when you really realize the length to the deception that we're under. And it's not that we're ignorant, okay? Because ignorant would be someone showed you the data and you choose to ignore it. What the public is the public is niscient, which is they're ignorant by design. Unless you watch Zachary K. Hubbard, unless you watch D26 Creates, unless you're, watching one of these people that's willing to put themselves out there and show you the truth, you're not going to find it in a Jesuit school. I went to Santa Clara University and I failed out of that university. It was a Jesuit university. The moment I stopped going to school, my career blossomed and I started doing really, really big things. And it just used to boggle my mind how other people could sit through something like school and do a 4-year grad course and take these mandatory, and take it for face value as all the truth. Sure, chemistry and math, when the numbers line up, it's great. But with the history they're teaching, with the critical thinking skills they want you to have or not have, and the thinking processes they want you to adopt, I mean, it's very clear that these type of conversations, these type of streams, there's a reason they're being censored. There's a reason that it's harder and harder for me to find this type of information. And I'm subscribed to every single one of your Gematria channels, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And it's ridiculous what you have to do to get around the censorship. But I applaud you for saying, fuck it, I'm going to keep going. You're not stopping me. And I'll keep following you, Just keep dropping the pebbles so we can keep following that crumb trail that you're leaving. But I don't want to take up any more time of your stream. You've already been extremely generous to allow me to speak this long on your platform. I want to call in again in the future, but for now, I just want to say thank you so much for waking me up to the truth. And you've got a real truth seeker here. I'm going to continue to look out for what you're telling and what you're showing people. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it, Benjamin. Thank you. All right. Great call. And yeah, Santa Clara, that's where Gavin Newsom, the Jesuit, went to. That's where they moved the Niners Stadium to for all the Jesuit rituals. It's funny. I was just saying how the Warriors won the first ever championship in 47 back when they're in Philadelphia. I just noticed the name David Blaine in Gematria's 47. Isn't that funny? And they're showing the Warriors in the main ad, and he's on the Philadelphia court. And all these years, we've been talking about all the tributes they do in Warriors Philly games. We've capitalized in so many ways on the Warriors 76ers rivalry, especially in the era of Steph Curry born on Pi Day. They've done so many Pi rituals with those teams. But Yeah, magic or magnets. Unreal. So David Blaine, 47 in Gematria. All right. Well, thank you to the super chatters. Here, I got to tell you guys something funny. Like, I'm gonna make more money on YouTube this month because people donated more when I was out in LA. But I do worry a little bit about this platform and if it steals money because they fluctuate on the percentages they take. But I want to tell you something funny about YouTube. Like, if you have a YouTube page, here, you know what? I'll get up on the screen so you guys can see it. So normally in a good month, I make about $1,500 on YouTube, and most of it's super chats. But you can see this month it's up to 2,700, and that's because a lot more people donated while I was out on the road in California. But it was actually above 2,700, and if you guys have watched last week, people have been pretty generous in the last week. I mean, there's been like a stream where a lady donated $200. There's multiple streams this week where over $100 are raised. And the time that all that money's been raised, which was probably about $500 over 4 streams, this number didn't go up. It went down. So I thought, how did my money go down for the month when there's been like $500 in donations? And I've seen, it's just like I told you guys, the month where I got all those donations on my birthday, but then I made the same amount that I made every month. It didn't make any sense. It's like, what? I never have a donation day like that. People were so generous on my birthday last year, or it might have been 2 years ago. But then I made like the exact same amount that I get every month. So again, thank you to everyone who does send super chats. I do appreciate it, but there are other ways to donate, like Cash App and PayPal and Venmo, and those things don't take any money out of the payment, and they actually pay you. So I'm worried that YouTube, since it went down, even though there was like $500 in donations, I'm worried that it's like, okay, so it never said there's going to be any more of a payment. I'll let you guys know if it ends up being higher than that. But it seems like the $500 just went into the abyss. So, and we saw what YouTube is when you go there, right? It's all fortified with military and security. It's all enclosed, almost like in an underground building. And if you guys didn't see when I went to the YouTube campus, it's in the side of a hill, and the entrance is into the hill. And again, it's all security and police around there, and cameras, and security all over. They show up as soon as you can't even make it anywhere near the front door, and they take your information and they say they'll get back to you. And you know what? That was what day was I? What day was I there? It was like around April 20th. No, it wasn't. It was before 420 because I remember I got to LA on 420. It was like April 18th or 19th, and they said they'd call me back in a couple weeks. Haven't had any phone call, nothing. So yeah, just beware about YouTube super chats. Some of the money obviously does make it each month because pretty much all the money I get each month is the super chatters. But it almost seems like the last $500 just, I don't know where it went, unless they're just not updating the thing and it'll just show up. But I'll let you guys know because something's definitely off with that. And shout out to Sage Zero, who also shouted out Itachi and King Richard TV, who do great work. But yeah, I think this has been a good stream full of information, and then that was just some information about what YouTube really is. Okay. I don't know about Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl. I haven't decoded the NFL season. He's on the Jets, and so far the Ravens are getting all the rituals. But I do know that Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets at age 39, and we call New York the 39 state, right? Always calling New York with all the 39 rituals, a million we've documented sports. Brett Favre turned 39 his first year at the Jets. Aaron Rodgers goes to New York at age 39. United Nations 39 floors all there, so... All right, I'm going to leave it there for now, though, you guys. I got to run to the grocery store. We're out of groceries. Got to make sure I feed Sweet Lady. She's on that special time right now, so we got to make sure she eats good. She's working hard. But, yeah, thank you to everyone who contributed to the stream. Some really great calls. Thank you to the super chatters. And, again, thank you to everyone who supports the Patreon. You guys can help me get the Patreon back up to the level it was at before we went all over the country last year. You know, it'll help me out over here because, you know, I got Sweet Lady and she's going, Zach, why go out and do things if people don't support it? If it makes your support go down, that's not helping the cause. it's easier for you to just stay at home, do the work. More people seem to appreciate that. And in a way, it seems true. It seems true. When I go out and pound pavement, support falls off. People would rather me be around sports picks, regular live streams sitting right here. But what I do know is that we need to be out in the community doing exactly what we've done all over the nation, recently in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Sacramento. We need to be doing that all over the nation, bringing people together, getting groups to come together, people going out, forming their own groups, start doing the same thing even when I'm not there, until people are just doing it all over the place all the time, getting out the word. And again, if we can get the support back up to where it was before, and hopefully even higher, then it's real easy for me to go, see, now people are catching on. See, they like that I'm going out and doing this. Now the support is there. But if that's not happening, then I can't make that argument. And right now, support's way down with more pavement pounding. Again, $1 a month helps me make a big argument. And again, if you guys can get on it, there's a good chance the Lakers could end up in the finals this year with everything we're documenting about 56. It would be awesome to be out there at the LA games. Those fans aren't going to have forgotten us. We were just there. We'll be right back and saying, funny what we talked about. Now let's review what's happened between now and then. And the list is going to get longer for the dead bodies between now and then, especially if LeBron's going, because the bodies always pile up. That's why they're playing at the crypt. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how they're pulling it off. People tell me that they can't sign up for Patreon anymore. If you can't, you can sign up for the work on my own website, freetofindtruth.com. You can support there. You can support at any donation link. Donation links are in the description of every video. But yeah, it's just, when I'm trying to win the argument here at home, sweet lady doesn't see the point in me going out and risking it on the streets and putting in all that. It is blood, sweat, and tears when you're out there traveling all over the place, not sleeping for weeks. And yeah, I mean, I like doing it. If I was a bachelor, I'd be all about it. But she does have a point. Like, if support's going to go down when you do that, then you're not building the movement, even though it might feel right. So help it all be right by the work gaining, the movement growing, the support behind it growing. We get enough support, then we can hire the full-time team of people. And honestly, what I even envision is having like a team of people that are really about it, that live in an area. Like I think of like the group that's out all in the Chicago area, like Rich and Frank the Truth Tank. Imagine we had so many resources coming in, we could just hire that team of guys that already go pound pavement together, get them like a GematriaEffectNews van, get them gear, so they have places. If they're out on the road, they can afford to get a shower, meals, be places. It's their job. They're being paid to do this. We should be able to bring in, and the reason I say them is because I know people in that group know the knowledge. They can speak. They're comfortable with public speaking. I mean, that's a group of guys that could get it done. And I could be out there with them as well. But I'm just saying, if there's a team of people who are doing what I'm doing full time, and we have the resources coming in, again, that could be team one. The movement grows. We get another team two. Young guy who called in, Jerry Cruz. He gets his people. I mean, $1 a month. Like I said, if there's 1 million people behind this work pledging $1 a month, that's a lot of people can afford that. Now we have $1 million to hire a bunch of people and really get the word out there about things. All right, one more call and then we'll wrap it up. 585.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Hey, not much. I just wanted to call in real quick. It's just regarding Gematria.
Okay.
Corey Taylor, the lead singer, he recently came out and said that they're never going to perform that song again.
They're never going to perform what song?
That's the song Gematria. That they'll never perform it live.
They're never going to perform Gematria, the killing name, again.
Yeah, that's it was like a couple of days ago. I seen an article about it.
Maybe they're getting too many questions about it these days.
That's possible. I didn't know if you've seen that. That's why I was calling in.
No, I didn't know that. I appreciate that, though.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like, I got to call Zach and tell him about this.
All right. I'll look more into that. Thank you, Michael.
No problem, Zach. Have a good one.
All right. Take care. All right. I got to meet Michael when I was out in Buffalo. He got to see me miss my turn in New York on the roads I didn't know and then have to drive through the toll 2 times. What a scam. I've noticed it seems like they do that in San Francisco and in New York. They got like unclear roads, and then if you miss the turn, then you got to double back and drive through the toll a second time. I'm like, I feel like this is a trap for people out of state. Hey, by the way, look at that, you guys. On 5-7 with the Michigan State victim there, Michigan State 57. Here's the headline with a 57-second story like we've been educated about for years, how ESPN always has the perfect timestamps. Hey, what's up, DK?
I'm just calling in to read you the quote about what that last caller is talking about. This is the, I guess, the lead singer of Slipknot talking. I've always wanted to open a concert with Gematria, Taylor said. There are certain odiums around the way that song was created and recorded, which is why some of the guys in the band are like, fuck that, we'll never play it. The reason isn't even sentimental, it's resentment. But for me, man, it's such a fucking burner that I just love that song. I can listen to that shit all fucking day. It comes screaming out of no fucking where. But it'll never happen. Unless the Pope ends up opening up for Slipknot someday, that shit will never happen.
The Pope, huh?
Does that not sound just weird as hell? Why would you need to mention the Pope?
When his daughter died the other year, he asked for all the flowers to be sent to the local Masonic temple. Again, for people to know, Gematria and Killing, because the song's actually called Gematria, the Killing name. Gematria and Killing both equal 38, like Kabbalah and English and energy. But two members of this band have died, and they both died in connection to 38. One died at age 38, and the other died on 38 date numerology.
So, like, I mean, and plus it's another ode to the Catholic Church. I mean, Slipknot is a new
Slipknot. So Slipknot and Gematria equals 46, like Catholic, like the 46 books from the Catholic Old Testament. The one who died at age 48, or excuse me, the one who died at age 38 died 46 days from his birthday. And the one who died on 38 date numerology died at age 46. So Slipknot and Catholic 46. And again, saying he'd only play it for the Pope.
And then, like, yeah, and then, you know, a Slipknot is a noose, and how many people did the Catholic Church hang going around the world, you know?
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I just had that to throw in. I just heard that last call. I'm going to go back and listen to this show. I haven't heard, like, the first 2 hours.
Yeah. But again, yeah, great job. Great job. I got the article up here, so.
Okay.
All right, man. Appreciate it, DK.
Okay, bye.
Later. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Yeah, what's up?
I just caught your spree, but you probably talked about this already. Dan Gilbert's son died, right?
That's how the stream started, right?
He'll commit to USC.
That's how the whole stream started. I covered all that at the beginning.
I figured that you probably covered that. What did you say? What did you say about that? A little quick.
Okay, so again, Dan Gilbert's son died. Dan Gilbert's from Detroit. Also, Lance Blanks of the NBA died. And look, here's the parallel. So Gilbert's son died at age 26 on the day that LeBron and the Lakers got their 26th win over the Warriors. Lance Blanks exited the NBA as a player at age 26. He averaged 2.6 points his last season. And he ended up dying exactly 26 weeks after the anniversary of his NBA debut. And Lance Blanks died at age 56. Dan Gilbert's son name equals 56, like coronation, like how he died the day that LeBron became 5-6 versus Curry at home in the playoffs on 5-6 with all the King James Bible 56 stuff. And again, just, Gilbert, he's connected with Detroit and Cleveland, the Cavaliers, obviously. But I talked about even more, but that was the main thing about the 26. And again, first chapter of my first book. What's the significance of 26? So.
Did you say this about the Kentucky Derby being yesterday, right? And LeBron's son going to USC Trojans.
And they valued him at $5.9 million. $5.9 million they valued him at, as his dad scores 59 at halftime.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, go back and watch this video at the beginning. Watch everything I showed at the beginning, because all the information's at the beginning of the stream.
Did you say that LeBron got his 127 loss the last game versus Golden State, and Golden State scored 127, and the Lakers scored 127, and today it's the 127th day of the year?
No. Yesterday was the 126th day of the year, but it was 127 days after LeBron's birthday. And yeah, they won with a 127, and LeBron stayed on 127 playoff losses. And when he got his 127th playoff loss, the Warriors scored 127. But I went back and looked at when LeBron signed his lifetime contract with Nike while Nike was 44 years old, and it was on December 7th, 127. And again, that's an Illuminati and Freemasonry number. So
basically, it was initiating his son into the thing. Basically, that's why his son announced he's going to USC during this week. I guess that's Saturday going into Sunday.
Right.
All right. I just wanted to make a point about that. I know you probably said all those things, but I just caught your screen right now. I knew that you said all that thing about the Trojan and the horse and the Kentucky Derby and the king crowning and all that stuff.
Yeah. Indeed.
All right, Zach. That was it. I just wanted to make that point about the Trojan, the horse, and the Kentucky Derby and all that.
Yeah, no, I connected all of it at the beginning of the stream, how it all comes together. Kentucky Derby, and I learned more about King James and King James II and where it all fits in. Trust me, for people who are new here, go back and watch the beginning of this video and watch like at least the first 30 minutes because I found out some new stuff about King James and a deeper 56. No, I really brought it all together at the beginning of the stream.
Oh, yeah, one more thing about the horse. Did you mention the horse? The time? Did you see the time of the horse?
2:01?
2 minutes.
That happens all the time at the Kentucky Derby. Run for the Roses, 2:01. Yeah.
0.57. The last Super Bowl was 57.
Yeah. And Mahomes. So Mahomes, number 15, did the opening ceremony, and then the horse with 15-1 odds wins.
Okay, that is that.
Yeah. All right, let him in. Yeah, for anybody like him who didn't watch the beginning of this video, go back and watch the beginning of this video and watch until I get to the point about where the King James Bible connection is and how King James I put out the Protestant Bible, but then King James II was Catholic. So again, you see, that's what I've been saying. This order that runs the world, it's obvious how they run the world, you guys. They run the world by cheating. Like good people that turn, I imagine what happens if somebody comes to them and says, "Oh, you want to keep doing that? Well, we got a problem with that. If you keep doing that, your pretty little wife over here, your nice little daughter, well, you're not going to hear about her anymore." It's just like the gangster movies. Again, you guys, we got raised on gangster movies. Where are gangsters from? Oh, Italy. Who's in Italy? Oh, the Vatican, Rome. Oh, that's where the Jesuits have their headquarters, directly across the street from the World Masonic headquarters. Oh. Again, it's all pretty easy to figure out if you just open your mind and think. It's not hard to see who's running the show. Vegas, founded by the mob, controlling these games. Disney giving you the scripts. Disney, Day Mole, Catholic. 201s for days. All right, I got to go to the grocery store, you guys. I really got to get off. But good calls. Thank you to everyone who supports the work. Thank you to everyone who helped get the Patreon back up to where it needs to be so I can make the case easy to travel somewhere at least once a month. You know. And if more people supported the work too, man, I wouldn't have to do things like sleep in my car all week. That's what I had to do on the LA trip because resources are down, you guys. Resources are down, but the trip needed to be done. So I just toughed it out and I hardly slept, but the sleep I did do, it was in the car all week. So anyway, the Godfather movies even bring together the scenes of like the murder in the church and just, go back and watch The Godfathers. And don't forget that they were calling LeBron James the Godfather, right? With his Catholic education after the first 3 Curry versus LeBron finals. All right, that's it for now, you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you to everyone who supports the work. Thank you for everyone who hits the like. If you guys can hit the like on the way out of here, hit that like button. Might show up in more strangers' feeds. That's the way the YouTube algorithm works. The more comments a video has, the more likes. Just leave a short comment because a nice, helpful comment, Google will probably delete that. They don't like nice, helpful comments. But if you just write like, thank you, good video, thumbs up, emoji with smile, just anything. Just leaving those comments, that helps the video find more strangers. Likes help a video find more strangers. Shares help the most if you share it on your other social media networks. So thank you to everyone who helps get out this work. Thank you to everyone who takes little clips of these videos and posts them on their own social media. That also helps. All right. Thanks again, Truth Seekers. Appreciate the love. Sending it right back. And until next time.